Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to another VHS Vault stream. Wearing my Vinegar Syndrome 10-year anniversary shirt today. Last year was Vinegar Syndrome's 10-year anniversary. I thought it was apropos for today. So if you've not seen a VHS Vault stream before, I assume you have. But if you haven't, we hang out and watch old, forgotten VHS stuff, either forgotten pilots of TV shows, or weird home videos, news reports, just weird stuff, interesting stuff, whatever. It's pretty chill. We hang out, we talk about stuff, we go on tangents and whatever. So welcome. Hope everyone is doing great. Amber Pretzels, thanks for 23 months. Briar Rose, 1984 with 36 months. That's a sub baby. Says, hey Hannah, glad you've been streaming such, Glad you've been streaming such awesome fun for so long. Basically the only reason I have a Twitch account. Well, thank you. I'm glad. This sub-baby's name is going to be Awesome Twitch Baby number 3642. Alden Undying says, update on my D&D stuff. Hope you aren't getting bored of these. I made a supply shop called the Pit Trap. You won't fall into debt here. Run by a goblin shop who goblin shopkeep who wears stilts to reach things and be able to look over the counter. Cute. Alden Undying with a 5 stream streak. Nice. Hey J Rodimus, how's it going? Radiology says, just got the new Doctor Who series 1 through 4 upscale on Blu-ray, so doing well. Nice, yeah, that's the same one that came in this set. It looks pretty good. Looks better than the old ones, at least I think it does. Yeah, if you have a choice between the two, that's definitely the one to do. Glad you got a nice steak, Halloween Town. Peep Lord with 100 bits says, I'm kind of chapped about having to replace 2 tires and a quarter of the cooling system on my van this week. Have some bits because this video is nuts. I'm not sad about van things. You are. Oh god. I've heard this guy's an asshole now. I will save this though, but I'll watch it probably privately at least first because I heard weird things about this guy after I showed a clip of him the other day. Where am I gonna put this? Over here. Saved. Thank you. MH Darkbeast with 50 bits says, please tell me you saw these laughable Trump shoes that he debuted at SneakerCon. He got booed to hell and back for them. Oh boy. Wow. I heard about this. I have not seen video. I've seen pictures of the god-awful shoes, but in fairness, I'm not like a sneakerhead anyway. I find a lot of sneaker designs to be awful. Ones that are quite popular, but you know, it's not my thing. That's not my collectible thing. I collect movies. But yeah, the Trump shoes are pretty predictably gaudy and awful.
A lot of emotion. There's a lot of emotion in this room. Thank you. So the really nice thing is we have lines, and I want to thank Chase and I want to thank Alan, but we have lines going all around the block. They're going all around this block. They've never seen anything like this one. Oh, good. That's what I just want to...
Is this the most booze he's gotten recently? Because I imagine he tries to spend most of his time when he can around sycophants. So this has to be like the most booing he's gotten in a while, concentrated.
I tell you, I've wanted to do this for a long time. I have some incredible people that work with me.
Really, you've been wanting to make a pair of shoes a long time? That doesn't quite seem... I don't think I've ever seen Donald Trump wear sneakers, period. Golf shoes, sure. Even tennis shoes, but like sneakers? No. No. And when I say tennis shoes, I mean the literal. I have seen him playing tennis in tennis shoes, not like the colloquial tennis shoe, which is also a sneaker.
That was Donald Trump in Philadelphia earlier today.
Honestly hilarious. And then this dumpster fire, what is this one? Oh no, the Trumpinator. That's certainly a choice. They look like he mugged the living, gold statue guy outside of the event. Alright, so let's get into some stuff, shall we? This is important, guys. I'm pretty sure Wayne's World made fun of this.
Welcome to the exciting world of Floby Precision Haircuts.
See, when I think precision, I don't think about sucking my hair into a relentless razor, but like, alright.
In the next few minutes, we're going to show you how
He's
to
had a resurgence during the, I assume that's pandemic.
achieve.
That's unfortunate. Like, in theory, you're like, okay, it'll cut the hair, and it'll clean the hair at the same time, but it's like, but look at him! But look! All of the people who got hired to be in this advertisement, I feel so bad for. Did they make them actually use it? It kind of looks like they're making him actually use it. Ugh.
The kind of haircuts you've always wanted. Our
Is
motto?
it?
No hassle.
Oh, they can't even make it look good for the ad!
No mess. Easy to do. So just
I don't believe you. I don't believe that this haircut is a result of that machine. I just don't. Because when we saw actual usage, it did not look like this. This one, we didn't see them use it on him. It just cut. So I don't believe you. I think this is a lie.
follow along with us in this video, and
Oh no!
you'll be a happy Floby user too. It's highly recommended that you watch this video.
I'm sorry, I don't have a prop one. I don't have one to bring in and butcher my hair with. I'm a fake content creator.
all the way
I won't commit to the bit.
through at least once before doing anything. Then the second time around, you can actually start assembling your Floby. First, let's open the box up and take a look at what we have inside. This is the Floby. Here is the cutter head, and the other end is where you connect your vacuum to the hose. If your vacuum doesn't
Oh, it's not
fit-
even like a... I guess in my head, I thought it was like a dust buster that had its own thing. You have to connect it to your vacuum hose. Awesome.
tightly, you can use this universal adapter to get a better fit. You may want to use it anyway.
Get a good seal. Peeplord says, this looks fucking dumb, but military barbershops all have clippers versus with vacuum attachments. It makes getting a haircut at lunch so much more bearable for the rest of the day. They just don't look that stupid. Well, the difference is, too, in that case, you're cutting very, very, very short. It's utilitarian, right? At least that's my understanding. Like, in day-to-day, I would hope you have more care for your haircut than a military base that's just trying to get people in and out for their haircuts.
Here is the power supply. This large end plugs into the wall, and the small plug at the end of the cable connects to the hose end of the Floby. You will find a bottle of special Floby synthetic lubricant oil,
Oh, good.
and
You gotta lube it up. You don't want to cut your hair without a lubed hair vacuum.
will need to put
course.
3 drops on the blades every other time you use the Floby. You will also find the instruction manual, which we encourage you to read before using your Floby. And there's also a warranty card in the box that you're requested to send in to activate your warranty. Remember, your Floby is unconditionally guaranteed for 1 year. If anything malfunctions, just
It gave me a terrible haircut, so I destroyed it. I threw it in a wood chipper. I'd like a new one, please. To throw in the wood chipper as revenge.
follow the instructions
First one wasn't enough.
in the
In
instructions
fact, keep them coming. Just in perpetuity. Does the new one come with a new warranty? Can I just keep throwing these into wood chippers at your
manual.
expense?
If after the year is
They do really good styling. Males can have hair up to 4 inches in length. Okay, I guess I
up
didn't know that.
and you happen to need service, just send it to us in San Diego and we'll be glad to repair it for just $20. Now, let's get familiar with the spacers. This will be the one most important part of your learning process.
I don't
Familiarize
want to have a learning process with my hair.
yourself
Like,
with the
I can't, no.
spacers. They are the key to great-looking haircuts.
Yeah, that's
Now,
$20 in 1993, which is what, $50 today? Rough guesstimate? I don't know. Someone look that up. Do an inflation calculator. $20 in 1993 to now. I'm gonna guess $53.40.
Each spacer has 2 tabs and 2 slots that fit together. Practice putting them together and taking them apart. Hint: gently pinch the tabs together while holding the other part at the ends, just like this.
43.24. Fuck.
Now, starting at the top of the head, select the proper spacer by holding the spacer or combination of spacers with the foot attached against the scalp. Then, change spacer combinations until 1/2 inch is
I
sticking
actually
out
haven't seen the new RLM video from today.
above the
I
spacer.
love Red Letter Media.
Remember,
Of course I do. I watch shit like this for fun. Of course I like Red Letter Media.
longer spacers, longer hair. Shorter spacers, shorter hair. Now, notice the hair sticking out at the top. This is what we're going to get cut off. Some people like to get comfortable with the Floby by making the spacers too long so that no hair can be cut. This is a good exercise because it demonstrates for sure that you can have it any way you want with the Floby,
This poor kid.
and it will not cut it too
It's goofy, but I do think I'd see this at 1 a.m. on cable, on network cable. Oh yeah.
short unless you tell it to by choosing the spacers that are too short.
Tell it.
Do not ever cut more than 1/2 inch at a time. This
Don't
is
tell me what
very
to do. This is America. I have a right to a Floby, and I'm going to use it how I want, okay?
important. While you're trying out various combinations of spacers, you can also take a look at the sides and the back. These will be steps 2 and 3 coming up. Now, some people happen to have one-length hair all over their head, and that just makes it a little bit quicker for them. The great thing about the Floby is that you can cut your hair any way you want. Now that you've
As
chosen
long as it sucks. All right. Enough, Floby. Funny. What is that CGI fox? The techniques, procedures, and tactics in this videotape represent one approach to dealing with certain potentially dangerous situations. Users assume all risks when using any of these techniques. Some people may not find all of these techniques effectively suitable for themselves in certain situations. Common sense should always prevail, and practice is a key factor in effective application. The decision of how and when to implement these techniques must be made by the user's case-by-case basis. Certain types of clothing may limit your options should a weapon be introduced in any situation. The technique in this video may not apply. The creators, producers, agents, participants, distributors of the program are responsible for liable for any of this program. Assume any injury, harm, loss, claim, or damage related to any of the use of techniques, procedures, or tactics demonstrated in this program. Please consult your doctor before engaging in the strenuous activity suggested by this program.
Hello, I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Many of you know me from my years with the
Call me Micro Machines.
Los Angeles Lakers on the basketball court. Today, I'm talking to you as a concerned citizen. Did you know that thousands of children just like you disappear each year to stranger abduction?
Why are you talking to me about this in a hotel room at like a Motel 6? Also, you can tell he plays basketball because they put a basketball in the background. I get it. He plays basketball. That's why the basketball's there. That makes sense. Good set dressing. Nice Spokane dog man.
Many of these abductions could have been prevented if kids only had the street smart skills to avoid the stranger. This is why I want you to listen to Street Smart Sam and Officer DeBry, who will
Good cue card reading.
show you what you need to do to become stranger smart. This video will show you how to apply Street Smart's 4-step personal safety system to the problems you face on a daily basis. Learn how to master and apply the principles and techniques in this video, and you will be safer.
Hello. Are you listening?
Furries!
Good.
God damn
I'm
it. I feel like I blame the furries in chat for how often this happens, but in reality, it was the 90s that did this to you. I'm sorry.
Street Smart Sam. They call me Street Smart because I know that as beautiful as the world may be, it can also be.
It only goes up to his neck because the rest of the frame, if they were to show it, is absolutely the most disgusting, not safe for work furry porn you've ever seen in your life. Hydrate.
Dangerous if I'm not careful. Let me show you what I mean.
I'm gonna deny that, Phoenix, just because that might be triggering for some people. A little far.
Did you know that every year in the United States, many thousands of children disappear? There can be nothing more horrifying to a parent than to have a child disappear without knowing the fate of their son or daughter.
To be clear, I get it. Kids do get kidnapped by strangers sometimes. I'm not trying to say that never happens. But it is interesting that in the 90s and in the 80s, there was this, like, huge effort to push for this idea of stranger danger, when in reality, and I guess I don't know if maybe this just wasn't as known at the time, there hadn't been as many, like, large studies done on this, if there wasn't enough, like, crime statistic data, but most child abductions, as we know now, happen from family members, often a non-custodial parent who kidnaps the child. It's just interesting. Very interesting, the focus on strangers. Run off from the satanic panic, probably. I picked out some satanic panic videos today, too, from the news, like from the 80s and stuff. It's shocking to me how complacent the media, I mean, not even complacent, the media pushed this, like, narrative for views, and it was absolutely disgusting. Absolute hysteria.
Sarah?
Like, it would literally be like if today the news, like if you turned on MSNBC or 2020 or something and they took QAnon seriously. That's basically what the satanic panic in the 80s was the news taking seriously these insane conspiracy theories. Did you know parents suffer from object permanence issues? Most children are found by parents when they open their eyes.
Sarah?
I imagine some of this had to be like, I don't know how to put this. The world became smaller and bigger in some senses. People maybe who had lived, or families and culture for generations that was more focused on small communities where people knew each other, to larger communities and cities. So not just, like, obviously urban areas had already been a thing, cities and stuff, but more suburban areas where you have a lot of neighbors that you don't know living next to you. That probably played a role. Like, all of a sudden, maybe when you were a kid in the 60s or 50s, you grew up in a smaller area where you knew all your neighbors and you knew people around town. Maybe suddenly in the 80s as a parent you didn't. You were in a suburb that was newly built and everyone's a stranger. I don't know. I'm not trying to say that it was justified. I'm trying to explain the phenomena for what it is. Why? There's always a why. I keep looking at the Pride of the X-Men thing, J. Rodimus. I'm so concerned, because Disney owns that. I don't think I can fuck with Disney, so I don't think we're gonna watch it. This is the only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar you'll accept.
Wait a minute. I know you. You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You play basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm sorry, son, but you must have me confused with someone else.
That's as much as I'll play. Very, very fun movie. I love Airplane.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Carr.
Yeah, no fucking with the mouse. I'm not getting John Doyled.
Every day, kids walk out of their houses and into the world. A great place to be. And a place to be smart and cautious. Street smart. Like Street Smart Sam. Your children may never be bothered by a stranger. But what if they are?
Did Doyle get copyright struck? He got he started making merchandise with Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, because he did a whole thing where he did a video about neo-Gastonism, where he was interpreting Beauty and the Beast as a pro-Gaston film and how Gaston was secretly right. He was basically using it as a framework to do ironic jokes and talk about how he thinks sexism is great. And women are doo-doo heads, or, you know, his typical stuff. But then he started to do merchandise that was like neo-Gastonism or neo-Gastonist or something, with actual images of Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Like, to be clear, not even like a fan art of Gaston, because that would require John Doyle knowing someone who is artistic, I guess. Literally just like a screenshot of Gaston from the film, cut out as a PNG and put on shirts. So anyway, I maybe shot an email to Disney's legal department, and anyway, John Doyle's store is down to this day, so whoopsie doodle.
Is your child...
Sorry, Mr. Bits, Briar Rose. Briar Rose says, I think it was also thinly veiled racism for fear of other, as people had to deal with integration and lack of segregation. That's true. That's true. Hadn't considered. A lot of places in America, it was, even though legally segregation wasn't a thing, de facto segregation was kind of a thing. Like, I am from Michigan, so like Saginaw, where I used to live, obviously segregation isn't a thing anymore, but there's still that separation. There's like that part of town and the white part of town, and it's because of like historical and social inertia. Because historically, those were where, you know, black families lived or white families lived when segregation was a thing. And even though the law changes, it takes a long, long time for, like, stuff to change based on historical inertia. Redlining, yeah, stuff like that.
One of those street smart kids who knows how to get away? Crimes against children can be prevented. You do need to be careful, but you don't need to be afraid. Making peace in the world doesn't mean always doing what someone else tells you to do, especially a stranger. It means standing up for a world that doesn't allow violence. This video will teach you how to stick up for yourself if a grown-up bothers you. You'll learn 4 self-defense steps and 13 safety tips.
That's my purse, I don't know you.
When you have learned and practiced them all, you'll be like Street Smart Sam, able to stand up for peace and outfox any stranger. First of all, what is a street smart kid? Street Smart Sam knows.
See what's happening, walks tall, thinks ahead, follows safety rules, and knows how to outfox strangers by using the 4 street smart safety steps. Avoid, surprise, stun, and run.
A gummy person. They're a gummy. They look delicious.
Do you know it takes a stranger just 7 seconds to decide if you are going to be his next victim?
That's gotta be a made-up statistic. How did you even come to that? It takes them 7 seconds to decide if they're gonna kidnap you. Well, they suck then. Like, I'm not, like, it just feels like a made-up statistic. 7 seconds of thought? I don't know. They're probably gonna get caught then. Jesus Christ.
He looks for kids that are fearful, who straggle behind. Maybe they're preoccupied or loaded down. Strangers look for easy victims. So,
You heard it, kid? Don't be a weirdo. Conform, otherwise you're gonna get kidnapped.
Is a stranger.
Hey, every time you see me do this, pause your VCR and talk to your parents. So, what is a stranger?
A stranger, is a friend you don't know yet. Or an enemy you don't know yet. Flip that coin. Risk it, kids. It's a joke.
A stranger is any adult you don't know. Hi, my name is Sergeant Steve DeBry,
Boo!
and I've been a police officer for 14 years. Which one of these people is a stranger?
You're a stranger.
Is this man a stranger, or this woman? This scary-looking man?
I mean, they're all strangers if you don't know them, but you're also a stranger, and so is the first lady.
A stranger is anybody you don't know.
Strangers can
Why don't kids go outside anymore on top of the non-walkable hellscape? I don't know. Maybe you gave everyone nightmares about thinking everyone's gonna get kidnapped. Alright. I had a news report, we watched a while back a news report that was like a concern about violent horror VHSs, and I found another one, and I thought the first one was fun, so let's take a look at this. H-Beard says, having that pause knock is important. Back then, everyone lost their VCR remotes within a few months of getting them, so you'd have to get up and press pause. Burned a lot of calories.
In the world of video rentals, sex and violence often sells, and there's now concern that videos may be selling.
You're just describing all advertising in the United States, at least, basically since the 50s at minimum, and I'm sure it goes back further than that.
Your child a violently distorted future. Movies depicting realistic murders are among the hottest draws for teenagers. And tonight, in part one of our special series, Channel 3's Don Hammond tells us why the scare goes beyond what we see on the TV.
No, that's weird. Don't sexualize random people for no reason, please.
There's this one guy who's sitting on a mattress and he's ripping himself apart with a razor.
Usually there's one person that's killing, and they always kill the
gore. Oh, there's naked women all over the place.
They like to actually show the brains hanging on the floor.
They get chopped with axes and stuff.
And I like people getting cut up. I get into it.
At first you go, but then after you see it and you like it, you start to like it.
And what they like are the bloodiest, most explicit and violent movies that have come out in the history of filmmaking. Many.
I mean, so far, I guess.
Combine sex with violence, often
combining sex with violence? Humans never do that.
Depicting
Gasp.
mutilation, rape, and murder. But they aren't seeing these movies at the theater. They're renting them from the horror section of your local video store.
The violence that is in there is things being done to women and on women. They're being hung up, they're being dismembered, they're being cut with surgicals, they're being shot in the face, point blank with a gun. And all of this type of stuff is being presented as acceptable.
It is funny that they showed, did they briefly show Halloween? Halloween is not very graphic, not incredibly graphic. Videodrome just turned 40. I actually watched Videodrome a day or two ago. I don't know. I keep wanting to love Videodrome because I'm such a Cronenberg fan. I love Cronenberg. But anytime I try and watch Videodrome, I love the visuals. I love the scenes that include, like for instance, him whipping the Flesh TV. Disgusting, incredible, incredible visuals. Especially in that weird symmetrical torture room with the clay walls. Fucking wonderful. And all the visuals of the TV, him going into the TV, the gun coming out of the TV. It's beautiful. But I hate the plot of Videodrome. I can deal with a movie like, especially in body horror, there are kind of two extremes you can go on. The Fly on one extreme, which is a a movie that is body horror, but with a very concrete plot, right? There's a very clear act 1, 2, and 3. There are stakes. You know exactly what is going on at every moment. Very little ambiguity. And then you have on the other end something like Tetsuo. I like Tetsuo. It's very dreamlike. It's like a nightmare. Videodrome hits this weird, uncomfortable point for me where my brain keeps looking for more in the plot, but it just isn't there. It's literally just James Woods' character, you know, getting indoctrinated by Videodrome and the system that is trying to use it. I understand all the metaphors going on, but it feels like the actual literal plot of events in the movie should be more than it is. It's hanging a lot on a metaphor that you get in the first, like, 5 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, but, like, is there more to the story? Not really. Not much. It's vague. There are ideas I love. The visuals are great. But I don't know. Videodrome is just... I want to fast forward to the parts where I'm like, all right, well, there's the cool scene. Maybe it's because James Woods I don't like. I talked about this too the other day. I was like, maybe if Jeff Goldblum or some other Cronenberg like actor had been in this movie, but James Wood is just nothing. He's just dry and wooden. I don't know. Doesn't help.
With repeated exposure to the slasher films, I think what we're seeing is...
I don't know how James Woods became a shitlord. I don't know much about him personally other than that he is shitty. Don't know how.
A callousness, a kind of desensitization to female victims of violence in particular.
Give it to her, you know, and slap her, shoot her, kill her, tear her apart.
They know it's entertainment. They know it's special effects. They get together, they have little parties, they watch these movies. They have a good time. I don't think they're really seeing the undercurrents that a lot of paranoid parents are seeing.
Chaz Ballin has talked to hundreds of teenagers about horror films.
Hundreds?
He's written books on the subject and serves as the splatter critic for 2 horror magazines.
I don't think they have to show the naked girl, but they do. They like they put sex and violence together a lot.
But it's cool. it's fun. It's crazy.
It's maybe their first exposure to sex. It is a slasher film in which...
he's Trumpy. I don't know if he's QAnon level.
Sex is paired with the most gruesome and graphic forms of violence, so that the one begins to evoke the other. And the
Hercules. He was in Hades and Hercules. He's perfect. Wait, that was him, right? Pretty sure that's him.
in the young child's mind. That's a cause for
I think
concern.
he's also okay in Contact for that role.
Strong concern.
Well, yeah, he could probably be replaced in pretty much anything other than maybe Hades.
For Dan Lenz, who's a noted authority on the effects of sex and violence in the mass media. As a psychologist and professor at UC Santa Barbara, Lenz has conducted studies which expose male college students to slams, movies that depict women being brutalized in the worst ways, movies that are the most popular with kids today.
People that originally perceived a lot of violence in the material see less violence with repeated exposure. The material that was originally deemed to be offensive, degrading to women, less so with repeated exposure.
I mean, you can certainly see that. People get desensitized to things, but does that mean that they're actually more willing to act upon things in real life, or is it a desensitization to things in media? Because you can see it's something like Psycho that was, of course, controversial in its day because, oh my goodness, the implications, and there's a toilet, and oh, you can't really see nudity, but there's implied nudity all throughout the shower scene. That was scandalous, right? Just the implication of stabbing was that. But then you get to the 80s, and even now, and we have things like Saw and stuff. It really got to the point where we kind of maxed out how much gore you could really do. You can do whatever you want with effects these days, you know? If you have a budget, at least. And I feel like that actually kind of had a chilling effect, and not in a bad way. It just changed the shift in focus. I think after the era of, like, Saw movies and Hostel and a lot of, like, what would be deemed often pejoratively torture porn, you saw this resurgence of more slow-paced, thoughtful horror movies. Of course, you had your Paranormal Activities and stuff. There's always those franchises that come out year to year. But largely, you saw a resurgence of things like the A24 films, Ari Aster stuff. So I don't know. I think we maybe reached a peak point where people are, like, desensitized to violence and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily means they're more prone to it in real life or if they're just okay with it depicted in fiction.
But even more importantly, when we put them in a new situation now, when they're asked to make an evaluation of, let's say, a rape victim at trial, and we actually show people videotape reenactments of a trial, have them evaluate the victim, we find that she is judged as less injured, a little less sympathy for her.
That's horrifying. I wonder if that's been replicated since, because that is concerning.
The young men have been exposed to slasher films.
The movie that you can barely make out behind me, not a slasher film. However, it is so violent and graphic that we just can't show it on TV. It's also one of 2 movies chosen by a group of very nice teenagers who allowed us to come watch them watch movies. Here's how they reacted to Hellraiser.
People want less sex in movies now, though. Yeah, I saw that. Apparently Gen Z is much less, and millennials even compared to, like, Gen X or older, less comfortable broadly with sex scenes in movies. They find them to be unnecessary and, like, cringy, which is interesting. I know what they're talking about. I've certainly seen plenty of films where there is gratuitous sex and nudity where it adds nothing to the film. Not thematically, nothing. Just, like, gratuitous, there it is. But I do think there's a place for it. Like, there are certainly films I've also seen where sex scenes or scenes of intimacy are incredibly integral to the plot, the characters, the themes of the movie. Like, there are movies whose entire premise hinges on this, like Gaspar Noé's Love, which is a film about a couple and how their dynamic changes over time, and it is punctuated by actual sex scenes. The actor and actress in the film actually had sex with each other, and you see these scenes. It's not pornography. It's not a movie you're, like, meant to jerk off to. It is a movie about the sexual dynamics within relationships. You know what I mean? And how when things happen in relationships and how relationships change, that sexual dynamic can change too. That movie is about that. It couldn't exist without the sex scenes. So I think it just depends. It depends. I think gratuitous sex scenes, for no reason, if they're really not adding anything, stupid. But I don't even think that's really been much of a thing for years. I see that more in, like, 80s and 90s movies. If anything, in the 2000s and onward, especially when Marvel-type stuff became popular, sex drained from, like, all media. Like, you got flirting, like, funny flirting, but, like, it's not sexual, it's not sensual, you know? So I don't know. I guess I don't know where Gen Z thinks they're seeing all these gratuitous sex scenes in movies these days. I don't really see that, but it's all relative.
Razor 2. Oh, that was bad.
Throughout this movie, they'll see faces ripped apart with hooks, a man slashing himself into a bloody pulp, and graphic, macabre tortures that defy description. But as the movie wears on, the shock value wears off. They've become desensitized to the violence, and
yes, it's fictional, though.
Though the movie still evokes grimaces, the movie no longer seems quite so grim.
They're seeing it as entertainment.
It is entertainment. It is literally entertainment. What are you talking about?
I don't think they're being sexually twisted or particularly malevolent or particularly misogynistic from watching these films. They can separate the fact from the fiction.
The real question.
Good for Fangoria guy. I kind of assumed he was going to get there because he writes for Fangoria, but still.
Are we as a society willing to conduct the social experiment whereby we allow child after child after child to be exposed to these kinds of depictions, waiting to see if...
I'm pretty sure this guy should have been more concerned about, like, Reagan and right-wing thinking than horror movies. Probably would have served everyone better.
There is the kind of callousness that I'm talking about. Or are we willing at this point to take a step to intervene?
In Sacramento, Don Hammond, Channel 3 reports.
If these tapes are so violent and so explicit, why is it so easy for teenagers to get a hold of them? Well, we'll have
I don't know, are their parents not paying attention?
some answers to that question in part 2 of our special series, Violent Tapes, when Channel 3 reports tonight.
Jesus Christ.
Just about anyone can rent a video movie. It happens all the time. But what if your child brought home an explicitly violent movie? Even though he may only...
Which one? Is it Nightmare on Elm Street or is it Cannibal Holocaust? Because, like, there's a wide gap between those two. Like, if I was a parent and I had a kid and they were, like, I don't know, 13, 14, 15, and they wanted to watch, like, horror movies, I'd certainly, like, be selective, but I think there are films that are fine. God. I'm trying to think. It would definitely be ones that veer away from, like, explicitly sexual stuff and hopefully not too explicit violence, but then, you know, as they get older, expand it, whatever.
only have that...
Which is hypocritical of me, because I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street, all of them, from a pretty young age. But I'm fine, but I don't know.
Tape for one night.
It's the sex stuff, too, not even necessarily the violence. They're just very horny.
Repeated effects of viewing material like that could last him a lifetime. Tonight, Channel 3's Don Hammond explains why it's so easy for our kids to get their something that could end up seriously hurting them.
It's worse. It's the sexy ghost candle episode of TNG. That's the only episode of TNG that my kids are allowed to watch.
By the time your child is...
Why do I think the rest of the Crow stuff didn't go anywhere? Oh, it was Brandon Lee's death. It was so... It hovered over the legacy of that, and continues to do so to this day. I think that's why.
16, he will have witnessed about 2,000 acts of violence. And from those acts he sees on TV and the movies...
A good place to probably start with actually, like, kids and stuff is, like, the 30s horror movies, like the Universal stuff. Like, they're already maybe not... they're slower, but you could probably find some stuff from there that would be okay. I don't know if any kid would be interested in most Alfred Hitchcock movies, but, like, Psycho isn't explicit, really. And there are plenty of kids' horror stuff, too. But I'm thinking more teenagers when they're actually starting to get away from, like, Goosebumps type stuff and more into, like, you know.
33,000 will be murdered.
All this hellish, unhealthy, violent activity, our kids are seeing this and thinking it's normal.
We're talking about entertainment and movies, and it's not real.
But the fear that many groups now feel about what kids have access to at your local video store is real. They're called movies, and their main feature is murder. The films show graphic portrayals of mutilation, rape,
This
and
is
torture.
not graphic.
Many
That is like an incredible scene from Halloween, but it's not graphic. There's implied violence, but then it cuts to the side shot, and Michael is standing there, and it's a side view medium of him and Stu, I think his name's Stu, pinned to the wall. It's one of the most famous shots in horror movie history, and you're talking about it like it's a snuff film.
Combine female nudity with macabre butchery.
There's scene after scene in which the viewer is sort of lulled into a sexually
That's funny that they said
erotic
female
scene, and
nudity.
then
He's also nude, but it is male gaze. I get it. You don't see his dong.
immediately the psychotic killer enters and, you know,
Oh, did they say Friday the 13th? That was Halloween.
stabs the woman with a pitchfork or guts her with a machete or whatever.
Violent movies bring in big bucks from the 11 to 15-year-old set. It's an age group that can't get into the theater to see the R-rated films without someone over 18. But video stores don't fall under the same guidelines as movie theaters. Some stores have their own rating system, but at most, kids can rent anything.
The fighting, the so-called killings, the slice and dice. I mean, the entertainment value of the movie. They want to see a monster go chomp off someone's head. They have to in order to bring in the younger audience. So they throw all that stuff in there just to bring them in.
Dan Briggs manages Sacramento Video in South Sacramento. He says most video stores will oblige parents who don't want their kids renting violent movies.
You are members' cards, and we
Funny enough, he picked up Videodrome.
type on the back, do not rent any R-rated movies.
Reanimator?
But typically, parents don't make that request. And even if they do, kids still get their hands on
Wait a minute, you're telling me it's the parents' responsibility?
movies. Last week when we went to Sunrise Mall, every preteen we talked to had seen them.
Sometimes friend's dad will take us out, something like that, but or rent them. That's usually. I haven't seen too many though. Mom.
Sometimes they don't know because I watch them over at my friend's house. Even if usually their mom is something they care.
Okay, this is good. What I'm saying now, that there is loose in their towns and their communities people like me today.
That's a serial killer in real life. Ugh. Peoplord says, I think the reduction in sex stuff in movies is due to the proliferation of pornography. It used to be that the promise of a topless scene would draw massive crowds, and scenes like the woman recrossing her legs would be exalted for decades after, oh god, Fatal Instinct? Then boom, I can see anyone doing anything from a computer in hours, then in seconds on my phone. I'm not going to a theater to see a hog shot when I can see 10 dongs doing what dongs do at any time, kind of like the gore thing you said. I guess in terms of the reduction of gratuitous nudity, I would certainly agree. H-Baird says, who reads Halloween when you can get your kids nice movie like Roar or Guinea Pig?
Whose dangerous impulses are being fueled day in and day out by violence in the media.
Is this fucking guy they're talking to a serial killer and Basic Instinct, thank you. They're talking to a serial killer and believing him when he says, "Oh, it's the media." Motherfucker! He didn't grow up watching Friday the 13th. He was known for being a charismatic serial killer that, like, manipulated people, and the media's like, let's get his take. I'm sure he wouldn't try to obfuscate his own responsibility for his murders by blaming the media. Genius.
In its various forms, particularly sexualized violence.
Dell believes Ted Bundy. During the serial killer's final hours before his execution, he said, sex and violence in the media fueled his murderous frenzies. Experts call...
Hey, hot take. The serial killer was lying to you.
Call Bundy a psychopath and a trickster. But Waddell's up, the American Family Association...
The American Family Association agreeing with the serial killer. Perfect.
Is on a crusade against sexually violent movies.
Peoplord says Ted has killer Riz, Slay Queen.
A very dangerous part of these videos is that all of this hellish activity, this extreme violence and degradation, is shown to be something women especially enjoy, that it's acceptable to do these things. And many of them are
with
training
consent.
manuals, training films.
Now, I'm not saying that people, as a result of seeing these films, are going to go out and kill somebody.
No.
Research evidence to suggest that. I think the effect is a broader and perhaps more insidious effect. That is to say, people, normal people like you and I, becoming just less sensitive to victims of violence.
Because when I think about sensitive to victims of violence, I think about the 80s.
In cases, authorities now believe violent videos have inspired some teens to kill. A 15-year-old Massachusetts boy bludgeoned a classmate to death after watching the video Faces of Death.
And how many countless people watched Faces of Death and didn't murder anyone? It's like when people, like, when I was a kid, it was video games. So, like, when I was a kid would do, like, a shooting or something, and they'd go into his room and be like, oh my god, he has Halo 2! And it's like, yeah! Half the boys in his class probably have Halo 2. It's one of the most popular video games in the world right now. It's just fucking infuriating, this goddamn narrative.
And in another case, a 19-year-old stabbed a female college student to death. Authorities found dozens of violent videos in his home.
Again, his peers probably had them too.
They also found a machete and goalies' masks, similar to the ones used by the killer in Friday the 13th.
Are you just going to put the clamps on end of visual expression because it may affect 3 people out of 235 million people?
You have to Sit down with your child and watch some of these films. Now, it's not pleasant, and I think you're going to be shocked as a parent at the content, but you're going to have to do it.
They're really gory, and they got a lot of blood and violence, and they're just really freaky.
Inside, Don Hammond at Channel 3 reports.
Tomorrow night, we'll travel to Hollywood to get acquainted with the kind of people who make these kinds of movies.
We have an editor here. His name is Ed. He wants to talk to us about his... No, that joke won't make... That joke's too weird. Never mind. Like, one in 10 people at best would get my evil Ed reference, and the rest would be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Hollywood. It's the entertainment capital of the world, and it's also the place where graphically violent films are made for video distribution. In the words of one makeup artist, blood pays the rent. Tonight, as we conclude our special violent tapes, Channel 3's Don Hammond takes you to Hollywood and the people who make these films for a living.
All right, very, very quiet for a wild track
From Beyond.
Yeah, let's take
blood off the lens.
Here we go. Very still. Very still. And...
Trying to recognize... I don't recognize this one. I don't know. Wait, no. No.
Full sound. Speed!
Syrup and food coloring, red dye.
The beverage of the day is blood. Blood on the costumes, blood dripping from this head, and blood in the racks of your
that's from Reanimator.
Local video store. It's blood that many video viewing now developed a real thirst for.
When you see it gushing out and stuff, it looks...
Do baby talk? No.
Sort of neat, you know, because you don't see it every day.
But that's part of all the excitement, is getting kind of grossed out.
But in many communities, the gross out has turned into a walkout. They don't want their kids watching graphically violent movies.
Oh man, then watch your damn kids. You don't get to decide what other people get to watch because your fucking kid is getting things behind your back. Parent your goddamn kid.
Movies that do a booming business with the 11 to 15-year-old set. Movies they can't see in the theater because of an R rating. So what do the kids do? They rent them from the local video store.
We're the last man on the totem pole to get the product. I mean, if they want to go out and beat up the people, go to the directors and screenwriters and actors who actually get paid to make this type of entertainment for us. It's just entertainment, elite level.
Having a talking head dripping blood is fun because it's not real. To have a beautiful young girl held down on a table and have a headless, bodiless kiss her down her body, well, that's fun. It's fantasy. And I think with horror, I think that's the dividing line.
We caught up with Brian Usna on the set of his latest film, Bride of Reanimators. He's also Dolls from Beyond, and his big hit with the video renting set, Reanimators.
From Beyond is probably my favorite of his films. From Beyond is really good.
The movies have a lot of blood and violence, but they're a far cry from slasher films that show murder depicted in the most gruesome fashion. Still, Usna's films are violently macabre.
We didn't make it with any rating in mind. We just made it with sort of personal sensibilities in mind. I personally control... In
terms of like wet puppet creature effects, From Beyond is up there close to The Thing. It's not quite there, but it's pretty darn close. Good wet puppet action.
Children see, and I think all parents have that obligation. I do think that I don't think that kids should be able to and rent R-rated movies.
If you haven't seen Society, go watch Society. I promise you, everyone here will love it.
I was impaled on antlers. I was eaten by zombies. I danced nude on a tombstone. I have chainsawed people and chainsawed dueling matches. Had to fight demons. I've become a demon. I've stuck lipstick through my nipple and had it disappear. So that I've been shot. Just normal things like that.
Maybe normal for Linnea Quigley, who's made a name for herself by taking off her clothes and then being...
Oh, they're gonna shame this woman, you fuckers. If she's comfortable and is, likes doing this as a job, good for her. You fucking assholes.
Slashed, stabbed, and stomped to death. For most preteens and teenagers who feed on a steady diet of graphically violent videos.
And start fighting. They shouldn't let kids, probably under 16, get those videos, because I think that in early life is when, you know, it's reformed about that sort of thing.
The sort of thing that every preteen and teenager we talked to at Sunrise Mall had seen.
Oh, in Return of the Living Dead, I did eat
funny.
some.
They picked the one movie where she's naked most of the time. In that movie, it's a zombie film, great zombie film. And her character, which is like a punk rocker girl, takes her clothes off and becomes a zombie. So she's like a naked zombie for the rest of the movie. So they picked the one movie where she's naked most of the time. I assume to shame her? I don't know. H. Baird says, this video is proof that boomers were boomery even when they were in their 30s. Yeah.
Someone's brains.
Here's my head in the basket. We usually have...
The movie that they are criticizing right now, that she was naked in, by the way, is the first movie to have zombies say brains. It's literally that important to culture that when you think of zombies and zombies are like brains, that comes from this movie. That's what they are saying is destructive to culture, is a zombie movie so popular and prolific, it changed our view of what zombies do. Prior to that movie, zombies did not have a particular care for brains. They just ate people. That movie made it brains. So that's where that comes from, if you're curious. Night of the Living Dead. Or, not Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead. Sorry.
Fruit and vegetables in there drying. We've got a decapitated head. Need a hand? Okay. This is my friend Pasquale. It's just a good joke. People come in the house.
Chaz Ballin is an author and horror film critic. He's talked to hundreds of kids about the most gruesomely graphic movies.
If the world be a better place because there weren't horror films, there weren't explicit stalk and slash films, and the world would be at peace, well, then burn all the negatives of every horror film ever made, if that's going to be kind of a guarantee, but it isn't going.
We don't know the extent to which exposure to this kind of material results in actual violent behavior. What we do know...
Violent behavior, like the Vietnam War? What is...
Is that exposure to this
frustrating.
This kind of material results in a more calloused person, a less sensitive person, a less sympathetic.
Since when have we decided that it's you know, that it's my responsibility for what...
People in the 80s were absolutely chocked full of concern and care and empathy for people different than themselves, by the way.
You know, your children see.
Don Hammond, report.
It's funny, the people from that age group that are so concerned about children becoming desensitized and not having empathy for others are the people who now are like, I'm gonna vote for people who are gonna tell you, I don't give a fuck about your feelings, fuck you, we hate you. You know what I mean? Feels like those are the same people that grew up to be Trump supporters, or grew up to be elderly Trump supporters. That's complete vibes, though. I'm projecting my view of people onto it. So. Overthought says you could argue that films that glorify war have done more damage by convincing people to join the army. Oof, true.
Hi, I'm Dick Smith. I've been a makeup artist for 44 years. What got me started was the fun I had doing monster makeup on myself when I was in college and scaring my classmates. Also, when I had young kids, I made them up for Halloween. And that led me to writing this book, The Monster Makeup Handbook. That tells a lot of easy ways that amateurs can make themselves up.
This is a full 37-minute tape where he tells you how to do monster makeup. The audio is rough, though, yes. And we're not going to watch much of this.
Hello?
I just want to see how he does. Pales him up.
Your brush.
Cool.
The teeth.
Fuck yeah. It's Bat Boy. That's what happened to him.
Of course, we made beforehand. On the outside, black skull-like look on the lower
Oh,
part of his face.
he's building it up. Look at that. Fuck yeah. He's actually killing it.
Gum, please. Step. Yes, possible.
Holy shit.
I've added, as you see,
Oh my fucking god!
little bits of cotton in certain areas where I want to.
This is incredible. That's a useful tape. Everyone should know how to do this. Lovely. There is so many of these tapes. A Woman's Guide to Firearms. The following videotape is not intended to be a substitute for live expert instruction from a professional certified firearms instructor. This tape is intended only to familiarize the viewer with the subject of firearms and some of the things one might expect to learn in a firearm safety and training course. Due to the extensive amount of information in this tape, it is recommended that the viewer watch it in the entirety more than once and then not go past any section without fully understanding the information given. Under no circumstances should the viewer while watching this tape use a firearm as a practical aid. This tape by its content does not provide any advice directly or indirectly concerning firearm laws. Such laws may vary from locale to locale, and it is the only viewer's responsibility to know the laws for his or her locale and to secure legal advice to such laws. The viewer is urged to secure instruction from a certified firearms instructor. Forrest Espion with 100 bits says, going back to nude shaming, sadly, even a lot of millennials and even Gen Z people look down at women who do any job that involves nudity or sex. Granted, we're better than boomers, but that's a low bar. We still got a long way to go. For instance, among Gen Z and millennials, it's a joke. If I ever get an OnlyFans, you know I hit rock bottom. What are your thoughts, Hannah? What do you think would help the next generation to shame women less for any job that involves nudity or sex work? I don't know. That's a bigger question than I have the capacity to answer. I genuinely don't know. Sorry, I wish I could give you a better answer, but I feel like anything I said would be just vacuous bullshit. I don't have an answer, and I don't want to bullshit you. I don't know. I have no idea. Ooh, good sax, though. I think when we lost all the sexy sax interludes, I think that's when things really went to shit. A lot of people blame 9/11. But I think maybe, like, on 9/10/2001, the final sexy saxophone riff happened, and the seal was broken. Keep going. Oh, they threw in a violin. Oh my god! It just builds. This shit's great. I'm just gonna rip this. This is my new theme song. No one will miss it.
Oh, he's on another business trip. Yeah, sure I miss him. But I've got so much to do preparing for my new film and reading some other scripts. Well, being left alone in the house with Dylan does bother me. Hold on a second, will you? Dylan? I'll have to call you back. Okay, bye. Dylan!
Gratuitous sax. Less gratuitous sex. More gratuitous sax. Koala. All right.
I know, but it's your bedtime. Let's go back to the kitchen, Dylan.
Gasp. It's a break and enter in my white suburb.
Oh, Jeff, hi, I'm glad you're home. Yeah, it's Lee. Could you come over?
Back when we had wall phones. That makes... I want to see a chart over time to when phones stopped meaning wall phones and started meaning cell phones. Because there was a time when you would just say phone, and you would assume it meant wall phone, and you had to specify cell phone. Now you say phone, and everyone knows you mean cell phone, and you would have to specify wall phone or landline. There's got to be a point where there was a year or a day where it was, like, equal, and no one knew what was happening when they talked about phones.
Well, Gary's not home, and I'm alone here with Dylan. I think I hear someone outside. Yes, I have a gun, but I don't know how to use it. Okay, hurry, will you? Thanks.
They lull you in with the delicious sax riff. That way you're shocked by the violence. See, it was after that, though, because people did specify smartphones. They would say smartphones, even as differentiated from cell phones.
Who is it?
It's Jeff.
Good thing it's not bear country. Probably just some dog looking for a meal.
Oh. Jeff, I was so scared.
Is that the box you keep your gun in?
Yeah. We keep it for protection in the bedroom, but, well, to be honest, I don't really know how to use it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm doing a film right now that calls for some fancy gun work, and I'm getting a few pointers from a guy named Mike Dalton. Maybe I can get his partner to help you out.
Oh, that sounds great. Are you taking classes?
No, I'm just learning some tricks. But I'm sure they can show you anything you want to know. I'll be up late working. I'll keep an eye on your place. If there are any more problems, call me.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
No problemo. As soon as I get home, I'll call you and give you the instructor's number.
H-Bird says... You just write it down. H-Bird says, I'm genuinely curious how common home invasions while the person is home are. Amosexuals always bring that up as an example of when you need a gun, but I'm really curious how often this happens. Is it a regional thing, a neighborhood thing? I imagine a lot of it is a desperation and drug thing. Because I've seen, like, actual professional housebreakers talk about this, and they will do... They'd rather do it during the day when no one's home. Find a house where they can find the schedule and know that no one's home and go in and, you know, do that. So I imagine in cases where someone is breaking into a house where someone is there and they know, more likely it's, they want... They're not thinking clearly. They're either on drugs or, like, really want money for drugs and are looking for things. Again, it's probably more a mental health and drug-related thing than just someone who wants shit for no reason. Because it seems like there are easier ways if you just wanted to steal money or objects and had, like, a, you know, a moment to think about it. There are easier ways than when someone is home. There's also the implicit threat of sexual violence, with this being a thing about women being home alone. Do not know the prevalence of that. Of course, we know that you're much more likely to be assaulted by people you know. But I'm sure it's historically happened, but I don't know to what extent. Probably not to the extent that this video wants you to believe.
Okay.
Bye.
I'll call him first thing in the morning.
People who are perpetrators and victimizers of others tend to pick people around them. They don't go into random houses, usually.
Morning.
Okay.
Thanks.
What you just witnessed is an
Possible, Wampa. You're probably more likely, if something is going to happen, it's probably more likely they think you're not home. And if they realize you're home, they'll probably fuck off because it's not worth the trouble, unless they're, again, not in a right state of mind for whatever reason, or they're genuine... I don't know. I don't know. I would not think typically someone who's there to strictly burgle you is just gonna do that. Because even people who murder people... Like, I feel like think this through more, or wait for opportunities where people are isolated, not just in a suburban neighborhood with people around. I don't know.
incident that could happen in any number of homes. Fortunately, it was a false alarm. Hello, I'm Gerald McRaney. I've been shooting guns most of my life. I've always made it a point to learn as much as I can about the proper handling
he has a very even affect
of guns and gun safety.
It's like he was grown in a lab to do videos like this.
Or even if you merely live in a house where someone else owns one, it's essential that you're familiar with its operation. A gun is simply a machine. Like any other piece of mechanical equipment, it isn't the machine that can hurt you. It's the operator, particularly one unskilled in its use. As an actress, Lee has appeared many times in feature films and television shows.
You're far more likely if a gun... I'm not telling you to not own a gun. Responsible gun ownership is fine. I don't really give a shit. I do have issues with, like, the kinds of guns people have available to them, but I'm not telling you that I am against gun ownership. I am, however, pointing out, if you do buy a gun, statistically, you are more likely to harm yourself or someone else to be harmed in your household due to an accident or other things than it to be used against an intruder. But again, you can do whatever you want. Just store it safely, please. Store it very safely. Don't have it loaded where it's stored.
Occasionally using a gun. But this does not mean she's been trained in handling firearms properly. So, she made the proper decision in wanting firearms training.
I've never seen Major Dad, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Experts Jeff lined up are Mickey Fowler and Mike Dalton, world champions in pistol competition. Together they operate International Shootist Incorporated, one of the best shooting schools in the world. For Lee, that's perfect, because expert instruction is the key to confidence and safety.
You're disappointed the women's firearm video is being taught by a man? I'm not surprised, especially not for 87.
Lee didn't waste any time. She got started first thing the next day.
I missed the saxophone. That's her shooting outfit. It's honestly a little cute. I'd wear that. Very 80s preppy chic.
Lee didn't know what to expect at a firing range, having never been to one before. She discovered there were people of all ages and types interested in the sport of shooting. She had no idea that the subject of firearms covered such a vast array of equipment and accessories to accommodate.
That vibe of walking into a store for something you're not really familiar with, but you just kind of wander and look at shit like that's a thing.
The skills one learns. The local range was spacious and clean, with large displays of guns, ammunition, and shooting accessories. As she watched shooters on the range through a large safety glass window, she wasn't sure what she was in for.
You must be Lee Purcell.
Let's see. According to the Department of Justice, victims were present at 27.6% of all household burglaries. Of the victims who were home at the time of the burglary, 26% also endured a violent crime. So about a quarter. That's more than I would have thought.
Hi.
I'm sorry.
I wonder how much is intentional or accidental. Like we were talking about with someone thinking the home is empty versus intentionally going in not caring or wanting people to be home.
I mean to scare you. I'm Mickey Fowler.
Oh, that's
so a quarter of them start with an owner home, and then a quarter of that quarter are then further victimized. So a quarter of a quarter. Okay.
Okay, Mickey. It's just my first time in a shooting range, and I guess I'm a little nervous.
Don't worry about that. I think you're going to enjoy this course. So shall we get started? Classroom's right over there.
I'm ready.
Not knowing
what kind of
someone
gun do you have at home,
there
Lee?
is nearly all occurred during the day. That makes sense.
It's a 22 or a 25.
Quarter of a quarter
like
is
any
an
of
eighth.
these.
Right. Well, we'll start with the basics and work from there. We'll be covering several things in your course. Safety, types of guns,
No, that doesn't
ammunition,
sound... Is
and
it
marksmanship
16th?
fundamentals.
I don't know, math things.
Maybe the first thing we should go over are the basic types of firearms.
1/16th?
Have any idea what they are?
I don't know. Rifles and pistols?
Close. There's three basic types. The shotgun, the rifle, and the pistol.
So you just missed one.
This is a shotgun. It's used for sports like skeet shooting and hunting. Now, the place where the bullet exits the barrel on any gun is called the muzzle, which brings up safety rule number 1. Always point the muzzle in a safe direction.
That makes a lot of sense.
This is the type of ammunition it uses, a shotgun shell.
All right, I'm done with this one. It's just gonna go into inane gun stuff. Oh my God, Jeff Goldblum's in this. I love him.
Now take a look at science from a different point of view as Jeff Goldblum hosts Future Quest.
Yes,
Stay with us.
I love retrofuturism and Jeff Goldblum. Did they make this for me? Briar Rose says also that's a quarter of reported burglaries. Obviously, if you're home during it, it's far more likely to be reported, lots more unreported as it's not worth involving the police.
Thanks to our members and the following
That
for
was
supporting
Hercule Poirot.
KCET's programming today. At the KCET Store of Knowledge, you'll find thousands of things to play with and explore. Entertain your brain. Santa Monica Place, Glendale Galleria, Fashion Island, and Montclair Plaza.
We've come to a Caribbean island
Hercule's a great name, only if you want people to constantly call you Hercules.
ourselves. Of morality. Join me, Pride.
Bob Sharp. We travel.
Give me Goldblum, you cowards. Here it is. Okay,
and
what
by
the
annual
fuck?
financial support from viewers like you.
I'm ready for my future now, Mr. DeMille.
Okay. Cool. He's surfing the future web tubes. What year was this again? 94! This was the year I was born! We did it! That fetus was me. Fun fact. That was actually my first role in media. This was me in 1994, so.
I suppose you can figure it out.
What is this music? Oh my god! Oh, that's a scary window. Don't go through that window. It turns you into a chrome thing. Oh.
The future is where we will spend the rest of our lives.
Criswell! Things like this will affect you in the future. And after all, the future is where we will all spend the rest of our lives. Love me some Criswell.
Computers.
Oh, this is ideal Goldblum. This is golden age Goldblum. This is Jeff Golden Age Bloom. This is like, okay, all right, I'm here for it. All right.
We love them, we hate them. Fact is, it's getting harder and harder to remember when computers weren't every place, doing work we used to do. So what are these things, computers? Are they smarter
Please tell me, I'm very interested.
than we are? Are they becoming our new best friends? In the future, will computers remain our coworkers? Or will they take control and become our bosses? I mean, computers are just machines.
Hope that is better for you guys as well.
How you doing?
Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller. Okay. Was that it? That was Penn's appearance in this? Okay.
I think that there is a fascination with computer technology at the moment.
This is my computer right here. This is like, you see it close, beeps when you close it. This is my computer, a Toshiba color monitor, 150 megabytes.
I mean, I think there's a national obsession with it.
Yes, I do write on the computer, but only on the top of it with a pen, because I don't know how to open it.
It's beyond mania. It's become a fetish.
I have a wireless modem as well, a radio modem I use once in a while.
Modem? Oh, I don't know. I guess I have a modem. What is that? I don't even know what that is. See,
Modem's how you connect to the internet.
I get very squeamish. I don't like to know what the innards are of anything.
Several of my books are being put on CD-ROMs now, and I don't even know what the hell that means. Is I just want the money.
People kept saying, if machines ever learn to play chess, then they'll be intelligent. Well, they do play chess now. They said, well, when machines can learn how to recognize human speech, then they'll be intelligent. Well, they do recognize human speech now.
Good morning, Charlie.
Jesus Christ, this is 30 years ago. This year, this is 30 years ago. By the way, I'm almost 30. Next month I turn 30, so... So there's that.
Our technology is becoming us to a huge degree. We're going to begin to ask ourselves the question, what is it to be a human being? And it's going to be something separate from what the machine can do, from what the computer can do.
Some people just sort of disappear head first into their computers. You see the soles of their feet go in. And
this is interesting with the advent of, like, how learning model computer programs have become so prolific. I'm sure you guys saw the AI video stuff, the fucking horrifying Sora stuff. If you didn't... For those who don't keep... I keep a pretty close eye on new AI stuff just because, like, I think it's important. I find it interesting. I'm horrified, but also like to keep on top of it. For anyone who didn't see, this is AI-generated video. They do this. They can do this now, apparently. They just basically figured out how to do pictures, it feels like a year ago, and now they can do this. Again, none of this is real. This is all entirely done via computer, and of course it's still fucky. But think where we were a year ago or 5 years ago and now here. So if you're like, well, it still looks fucky, it probably won't in 5 years. So prepare accordingly. Because people are gonna get fucked. So many people in creative industries are gonna get fucked by this. Because at the end of the day, the people in charge are gonna do what makes them the most money. And this is gonna make them money. Still, just AI, this whole thing. We taught rocks to hallucinate. So basically, anyone who has a job working for, and I'm not talking about like big, you know, huge movies necessarily. I'm talking about most creative work and work done by people with like degrees in like art and design and stuff aren't for big movies. They're for random corporate bullshit that, like, you know, they have a regular job at a company where it's their job to put together visual design for presentations or promo videos or whatever, or work for ad agencies. Those jobs fucking gone, or at least far fewer of them. So that's not good. Briar Rose with 100 bits says there are some doubts about that. People reviewed the Sora videos and they were very similar to stock videos from the platform that OpenAI has a contract with. So they seem more like tweaked stock videos. No, because they did ones on the fly. They literally, on Twitter, the CEO asked people, give me prompts, and they did, and then he did them. Like, that's enough. You get that that's enough, right? Like, if it creates recreated, tweaked videos, that is enough for companies to go, all right, we can use that in our ad, or our corporate presentation, or whatever. That's enough for them, is that it's legally distinct, as far as they're concerned right now, and that it looks good enough. They are not looking for creative integrity, or authorial intent. They need video to stick in an ad. They do not care. That's the concern. H-Baird says, I'm looking forward to the day when rich AIs will hire human butlers as a flex to their other rich AIs. There's a video game for VR called Virtual Reality. That's a dystopian comedy about how in the future AI is taking over all jobs, so the only jobs for humans are being slaves, basically, for computers and AI, and you do weird, creepy stuff for them. I like that game. If you have a VR headset and it's available, I'd recommend Virtual Reality. The first one. I haven't played the second one. The second one looks very different.
See them again for weeks or months.
If you asked
Beware the butter guy, he's a creep.
me to give up my computing elements and the network and all of that.
It won't be, though, Profane Priestess, because people in charge of laws stand to profit from this. Like, in theory, like, how do I put this? If we lived in a society in which people didn't need to trade their time and labor for their well-being, it wouldn't really matter. But we do. And in this system, the people who make decisions are people with money. Those people stand to gain a bunch of money from this stuff, so that's not happening. That is not happening.
This couldn't function.
You could probably watch a VR playthrough or something on YouTube of virtual reality. It's funny. It's decent. It's worth it. I don't know if it's as fun to watch, because, like, again, I played it, so, like, there's that ludic element that you're not getting if you just watch it on YouTube, but I thought it was funny.
It's sort of this seductive, almost addictive thing, getting involved in the computer world, and it's not entirely a positive thing.
Oh god, I didn't tell you this either. I went to an arcade a while back, like a month or so ago, and I haven't been to a new arcade or any sort of arcade in a long, long time. Half of the games are VR now at an arcade. I'm probably a boomer on this, and I love VR, but nothing disgusts me more than an arcade where I have to put on a headset after 50 sweaty children. Again, it was like half the games.
I can be away from my computer for hours at a time, but it doesn't seem I can go for a full day.
Technology is becoming mainstream.
What they probably need to do, if I were to try and tackle this issue, is have every person who's in the arcade who wants to play a VR thing, you get a little plastic, really cheap, disposable whatever. Or maybe it's washable and reusable, but it gets washed, right? Everyone gets their own. And then every VR station has a little click-in thing that you can click in and out your thing so that your face is the only one that touches your thing, and all the electronic elements are just on the thing, but you don't have to have your face against a thing a bunch of other people did. And then when you're done at the arcade, it's either maybe made of something biodegradable, or it's washable and you throw it in a bin and they put it in the back where they fucking put it through a big washer or something. I don't know. But they're not doing anything, and that's gross. H-Baird says, Disney tried having a VR arcade. It was called Disney Quest. It was super expensive, and the VR goggles always fogged up within 30 seconds. Oh, that was a long time ago, too. Disney Quest was, like, late 90s, early 2000s? Yeah. Oh, I didn't mention it. We did get the king cake. So thank you. I believe that was from Harold Elbowman, the 4th. Thank you for that king cake. Delicious.
But at the same time, it's being designed in such a way so that the humans...
Anyway, Disney Quest was like, the VR was not... Even now, VR is at a place where it's, like, not really consumer ready. The closest I've seen is maybe like, the Apple Vision Pro. And I specifically mean, like, the resolution of the screen. The form factor of the Apple Vision Pro is disgusting, and I hate it. But I don't know. In 10 years, they'll probably have some horrifying fucking glasses.
Necessarily have to go to engineering school or get computer science degrees. It's becoming much easier to use, and therefore...
It's a plastic baby that represents Jesus. It's not a baby Jesus, except in metaphor. It's the transubstantiation of the plastic king cake baby Jesus, or baby into the baby Jesus.
Or it's becoming much more mainstream.
Have we been mesmerized by the promise of computerized utopia?
They used to say that we'd have this one big computer running the whole house, and you'd sit there and you'd program in everything about your life, and then this one could push one button and it would run your whole life. But the way it really works, we have all these little chips, and every appliance has its own chip, and you program each thing separately, And it makes more sense that way, and you have much more flexibility and much more control.
Computers are very good at coming up with new ways of modeling and experiencing portions of reality that you can't experience directly on your senses.
They can imitate television, they can imitate books, they can imitate music. Their whole content is about simulating things from descriptions.
It's weird that he's saying this in 1994, because that was not the case in 1994. Like, modern... Calling it AI annoys me, because it makes people think of, like, true AI, like generalized artificial intelligence, which is still a sci-fi concept. Probably won't be forever. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Machine learning, the way that it exists now, is relatively new, so it's kind of shocking to me that he was talking about it that way then.
I think that now everybody is going to have to be computer literate. It will be almost as bad as not knowing how to read and write in the next 3 or 4 years if you can't use a computer.
I suppose I am a computer-resistant person. I'd never really thought of it in a phrase like that before. I never really thought of it as like a syndrome or me needing to go to some sort of a support group, but some feelings are coming up now.
In the same sense that Henry Ford's car turned us into a nation of people who are obsessed with cars, we've never gotten over that. To some degree,
unfortunately,
the West and the whole world, I think, is going to go through a period of computer infatuation, and no one knows if we're ever going to come out of it.
One sec, I gotta use the bathroom. Be right back. Thank you for your patience while I use the bathroom.
Computers won't be so prevalent in the sense that we now have to sit down and squint into a flickering screen and worry about carpal tunnel syndrome and, you know, bad radiation that renders us all sterile, you know.
You know, that computer radiation problem? What? Do they think that I'm viewing the computer with my crotch?
I think that they will recede into the background in a way that, you know, there's numerous computers in
like when people worried about phones giving you brain cancer.
Car, but you're not aware of them. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Or people who used to think that using a cell phone, like, at a gas station would start a fire. Like, you're not supposed to use, like, phones when you're, like, at the gas station filling up, but it's so you're paying attention. It's not that the phone's gonna light stuff on fire, it's that you should be paying attention to the gas pump. I don't know if people saw signs that were like, don't use your phone around the pumps, and assumed that it meant that it was gonna catch fire. No, it's just, you pay attention, you asshole. It's flammable.
And I think what's left is how they've changed the way we communicate.
Computers are not typewriters.
It became irrelevant with LCD displays. Thank you for clearing that up.
Computers can create a place, an inhabitable environment where mind can meet other mind. They're more like the telephone than the typewriter.
A computer that isn't hooked up to anything is being misused as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the computers are there to be connected with one another and to create the neurology of the world.
What does it mean to be wired?
When you moved from a typewriter to a personal computer, we would refer to that as getting wired. Wired is really about communications.
When hotels have data ports like this fine Sheraton, we're more apt to stay there.
Getting plugged in, being connected, the global village.
As long as you've got a modem, you're part of the community.
Do you all have modems?
The internet itself is probably the largest working anarchy that's ever been devised on planet Earth.
Down with law, down with order, down with everything and everybody.
The way a computer bulletin board system works is that lots of people can use the same line to communicate their ideas. You can actually chat, just by chat, I mean, you know, typing in words on your keyboard in real time, which means that you will watch the letters scroll across the screen, or you can read something and then what's called post. You make a response to it, and then, you know, someone will post after your post and respond to what they said, and so on and so forth. So it's like reading a little history of a discussion of a
That's incredible.
particular topic.
Like, I know, of course, you have to explain this stuff when it is new, but it is so funny, the things we take for granted, like, just the concept of how a chat looks digitally, where, like, a person says something and then you say something, and blah, 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 and you can go back and read it. Like, that's novel at the time! That's just something we do every day, all over the place. Just text conversations that are archived and people can look at.
Right now you have this culture of people who are just really excited, and they use their computer 2-3 hours a day just to communicate with other
2 or 3 hours a day? Gasp! I think they have a problem.
people. But that's sort of like going to parties for 2 or 3 hours a day.
With cyberculture, it's not so much using computers as a way to communicate better with people. It's more like using computers as a way to get high.
I don't think I have 2 or 3 hours a day where I don't use a computer. That's a problem.
As a way to have altered perceptions of reality.
Like, even if I'm like, let's say I was making dinner, I'd have my phone or something open watching YouTube, you know what I mean?
To me, as someone who spends a lot of time in cyberspace and a lot of time in the real world, that these are very different states of mind.
You sit down and you plug into the net, and there are people all over the world, and you can talk to them.
I don't sleep? No.
All night long.
Why would I sleep? What a waste of my time. You think I'm gonna sleep a third of my life away? I do the shark thing. I just sleep half my brain at a time, which explains my behavior.
I've been living a good chunk of my life in cyberspace now for about 5 years, and a lot of things have happened to me there. You know, I had a long, tragic love affair that was almost entirely in words.
Is this the first man to be diagnosed with needing to touch grass?
I've had terrible fights with people that I had no particular disagreement with, really.
People get just as emotionally invested in their online personas as they do with their relationships in real life.
What? H-Baird with 40-bit says, I'm old enough to remember when boomer teachers thought they actually had something to teach us millennials about computers.
What's lost is not feeling that warm body, you know? The good thing about it, the luxury of it, is that you never, ever, ever have to introduce a new relationship to your mother.
Oh, I was afraid something like this would happen.
This, to me, is a blessing in disguise. So how is your new Chip? That's what she'll say. Is she Jewish? Is your Chip Jewish? She'll always pick on something. Well, who loves you, Mom? But you'll never see, you can't come to
90s stand-up comedy.
Wait, you know why? Because it's in a little box.
Any relationships that I have with women are almost, I think without exception, augmented by computer. I end up, if I'm involved with someone, getting them online.
I've seen people commit suicide online, in a sense. I mean, I had a friend who decided that he was going to kill himself, and the first thing he did was to go into the computer conferencing system that he basically lived in and set loose a program that systematically went through the whole conferencing system and erased everything that he'd ever said.
That's really sad and dark. I hope he just deleted his stuff and was lying about the self-deletion thing, but holy shit, that's depressing.
And then he killed himself.
At least Penn isn't a libertarian anymore. Yeah.
Two of my closest...
That's the thing. I have the entire series of Penn and Teller bullshit, which is a great show for the most part, but so often it gets just... You can feel Penn's libertarian bullshit peek in from time to time, and it's so obnoxious.
Married couple friends both met completely over the net and flirted over the net and built their whole relationship over the net and went for a very long time and very, very far before they ever met face to face. These are relationships that are based entirely on wit, intelligence, demonstrated through writing, as opposed to looks and smells demonstrated through hair care products.
He sounds like a libertarian. No offense, Penn. Holy shit, this is certainly something. Oh. I care about Milady's intellect and not her hair care products or pheromones. Teller's in the corner, just embarrassed.
It's real love in a computer.
Tonight, my new boyfriend from New York is coming in, and we met online. So, like, what a cyber example, right? Cyber goddess meets, love boy online.
Now, a lot of people experiment with being...
That's him. That's love boy. Surprise.
Someone of the other gender.
I did not know this was a section until we, until now. I did not realize that this was, wait, who would have thought, what? Okay, let's go, fuck it, let's go, let's do it. Who amongst us, let he who is not, prior to transition, pretended to be their preferred gender, their actual gender online, let they, he, she, who did this cast the first stone, whatever your pronouns are now.
A woman can log on and be a man, or a man can be a woman, or you could pretend to be gay or straight or whatever.
It can be shocking and surprising if you're not prepared for it, but also I think that there's a good side to that. People see...
Does she know that gay people pretending to be straight did not start with the internet?
How they are treated when they are perceived to be a person of the other gender.
All of Undying says, playing male characters in online games made me realize I was gender fluid. Oh.
You get people sending what are called flames, which are just nasty messages.
I did not think that that was what they were going for there. Thank you for clarifying. That was certainly a poorly timed edit.
Computer network, they probably would not have the nerve to say to you face to face. So there's this lowering of inhibitions that the communications media brings to it has both positive and negative benefits, and we need to understand both of those.
If I want to punch you in the nose, the nice thing about an experience is that I can punch you in the nose. If I'm dealing with
Is that nice? Is that a nice thing? I don't think that's a nice thing at all. 3,000
miles away, and all I got is words. I'm going to do my best to punch you in the nose with words, and that involves, shrieking invective.
Maybe stop. Maybe don't. Have you considered?
People who pick their nose in a car, they feel they're invisible and they can pick their nose. People on computers, when they can ask you questions, will feel much more freed up to be meaner, I think, because there won't be the civility attached with actual interpersonal contact.
Where are we headed?
I think in the future, we're going to need to have local, regional networks that can tell you job information, healthcare information, municipal information.
Again, it doesn't have to. It's funny that he talks about networks when in reality what he's describing is specific websites. Municipalities, localities, areas have websites. If you want weather, there are 10 million websites and apps. You could get the weather directly from the, National Weather Service. They really sparingly sprinkle in Jeff Goldblum. He's the seasoning. He's the seasoning that kicks it up.
Allow citizens of cities and counties and states to talk with each other about the issues that concern them.
None of us can handle that much Jeff Goldblum in one stream. If it wasn't just sprinkled, it would be like drinking sriracha. Too much, too hot to handle.
But this is also a global medium, and I think that we all need to have that global connection. I know that I have friends all over the world now that I would not have met other than through the network.
This is sort of the dream of the information superhighway, and extend it even more where everybody would be able to plug in and have like a virtual reality interface with the information net. This is sort of the
I don't drink sriracha in the morning. No.
We would all be.
I like literally, I have to take omeprazole even just for like pizza sauce. I can't eat hot stuff. It does not agree with me at all. Like even like pepperoni, like normal pepperoni is spicy to me. Like I go, woo, pepperoni. I am a weak bitch. I don't do hot sauce of any kind, even mild.
In this shared information net, talking to each other, automatic language translation, and people would have little creatures that would go out and find the information that they wanted, little virtual creatures.
White. Oh yeah, if I if I somehow wound up like in any other country, I'm pretty sure I would die immediately.
I would suspect that.
Like if I went like to if I went to the American Southwest and had Tex-Mex, I'd probably die. I'd shit until I died. I'd throw up. It'd be disgusting. Here's a link.
Order, you're gonna start seeing
the UK. Probably fine. I'll just stay away from different curries.
Network groups.
It hurts my mouth too.
Quite. They come up with new means of constraining their members.
Like, spicy isn't good. I know it's probably, like, a thing you get used to, but, like, I have never understood people who are like, this is really spicy, I love it. Spicy is awful. Spicy hurts. Why would you do that? It's awful.
Interest groups that actually demand things of you. Probably money, beginning with money, then maybe some kind of loyalty oath or...
Send it, Lennon Cat, and, I'll take a look. I actually think I maybe had that saved, but I'm not positive. So send it, and I will save it to check out.
To weird net cults. You know, the first net Manson, the first net Koresh. Somebody who's actually able to sort of suck people into his...
Are you telling me people might use the internet to pull people into cult-like communities? Can't even imagine. VH1, totally gay. Okay. Saving. Oops, wrong folder. There we go. That's not right either. Where was the thing?
Net charisma and actually like force them to do things.
Seriously though, it is funny that they're predicting like internet cults, because that is very much a thing.
Warren.
Oh, I fucking love garlic. Garlic is incredible.
We have a lot of call for some new laws in this new territory of cyberspace. I believe that in the United States we have an excellent set of laws and rules. It's known as the Constitution of the United States, and we
those aren't all the rules.
Need to extend that.
He's sovereign citizen.
To cyberspace. We need constitutional protection of freedom of speech on the computer networks, and we need some kind of rules that allow law enforcement to prosecute crimes without trampling the rights of individuals.
What the government...
Don't worry about those pesky rights. 9/11 is about to get here, and the general public, or at least politicians, won't pretend to be concerned anymore.
has proposed so far is something called the Clipper chip, which essentially makes it possible for you to keep your communications private from everybody but the government. That is to say, you would have perfectly encrypted communications, but if the government wanted to see what you're up to, they would hold the keys. and they could go and look. I just don't think that's a good solution.
Technology will give you freedom of speech. Technology can do what the Constitution was unable to, even with the clearest wording ever written in a...
Here's this libertarian shit.
In
To be clear, I'm in favor of freedom of speech. I don't want the government interfering with people's speech, but there's a difference between the government doing it and general people. You know the difference. You guys know the difference between a right to say something and a right to an audience. That's the distinction I want to draw here. But Penn's young libertarian view seems to not take that into consideration at all.
any political document, they still have managed to pollute it. But technology with encryption and high bandwidth is taking care of that. It is giving us privacy and freedom that we were guaranteed by the Constitution and took.
Privacy and freedom. That's what the internet will give us. Freedom? Sure. For a lot of things. I don't disagree. Privacy? We're gonna hand them over our privacy. Here you go. Have everything about me forever.
You know, boys in Silicon.
That's more of a me problem.
Valley and Bell Labs and MIT and Caltech to actually give us.
The people who are already there in cyberspace on a conscious level are a wild libertarian lot, by and large. They're people who went there just as in the last frontier because it was a place where they had a lot of freedom.
Welcome to the next.
The cyberpunk culture started out as an underground movement.
See, my problem with that overthought is what happens when the government, like, let's imagine, and I know this is an extreme example, but let's say the government was taken over by fascists, for instance. Are you still okay with that? Because the things they're watching you for might not be morally wrong, but if, like, the government was interested in persecuting people for certain things and you did those things, even if those things weren't wrong. So that's the problem. The problem isn't, you know, your information being in the hands of some hypothetical benevolent government. It's that that information, once out there and stored somewhere, is available even for people who would use it for ill, including the government.
As a counterculture culture.
Like, bear in mind all of the things, and again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You guys know I try and take things and have nuance, right? I don't think that the United States government is some omni-evil entity, but it is true that the United States government has done terrible, terrible things. I do think there's a limit to what they should be able to store about people without probable cause. I get it. I want the FBI and other organizations to have the ability, with reasonable evidence and suspicion that is demonstrable and evidence, to be able to get into things if they need to. But in lack of that, no, we should not just allow them to, like, suck up information indiscriminately. Not helpful. Especially nowadays with, like, AI and stuff. I used to be a little cooler with it because I was like, that's so much information to parse. The signal is lost in the noise anyway. In the next decade, with continual, like, AI stuff getting used by the government and companies, no amount of signal versus noise will matter. If someone has that information and it's out there on you, they can get it. I don't know. I fear concentrations of power anywhere. Government, corporation, whatever. It just leads to more hierarchical power. I don't know. It's just concerning. Broadly.
Was, in a sense, very anti-establishment, very anti-business, that was very
anti-disestablishmentarian,
sort of hacker-oriented, anarchistic, and so forth. It was very bohemian.
The trappings of cyberpunk are, in many ways, are truly radical, are revolutionary.
I'm freely and openly confessing that I am a cyberpunk, but I don't see anything wholly new about it. I mean, counterculture is a very old thing. It's as old as industrial society.
Cyberpunk, you take it apart, there's two words in there, there's cyber and there's punk. And cyber means computer, having to do with the fusion of man and machines. People thinking like machines, machines thinking like people.
I've seen Metropolis.
I always wish human beings luck. And from what I hear about the cyberpunks and all that, is that they're no more vicious than you were as a hippie.
The punk aspect has to do with with counterculture. There's this sort of evolution from bohemian to beatnik to hippie to punk. And now I guess it would be Gen X or raver or slacker.
I don't control the way other people who call themselves cyberpunks behave. Every bohemia has a criminal element. There are people who are into cyberpunk in a major fashion, who are into things like, breaking into telephone switching stations, planning computer viruses, stealing telephone service. There are guys there who are not healthy.
I'll give you the greatest story of destruction the world has ever known.
No, that's the way bohemia always is.
Computers and humans, separate but equal?
One of the things that I think is happening...
There was a famous phreaker who was able to... What did they hack with an Oscar Mayer weenie whistle? I know it was something just absolutely fucking bonkers. They would use their Oscar Mayer weenie whistle. For those who don't know, phreaking was basically hacking via telephone. So the way that... Free long distance, that's what it was. Your phone, like, listened to actual tones, and like, those tones would tell it what to do with the telephone exchange, yeah. People were able to mimic those beeps and know what they meant and how to command them using different techniques. This guy had a fucking whistle. Was it the Captain Crunch whistle? Sorry, I thought it was Oscar Mayer weenie whistle. Different whistle. Anyway, Captain Crunch whistle, he was able to get these tones perfect and get, like, free long distance and shit.
The close of the century is this increasing fusion between men and machines. Machines are becoming more like people. People are becoming more like machines. This, in the cyberpunk science fiction movement, that was kind of the theme that we were getting at, where you would have robots eating people's brains to get the information, or people transforming themselves into computer brains.
Hello,
this kind
Anonymine.
of blurring
How's it
of the boundary between the machine and the person.
Looking at weird old VHS
Computers
stuff
never
today.
break, but they become outdated. They're kind of like people.
In the future, you're going to think about training them. Just the way you train a person or a child. You sort of tell them what to do and you give them feedback and they get better and better. And that's when it gets exciting, when instead of you adjusting to them, they start adjusting to you.
I don't think a computer interface can ever take the place. I mean, you need to touch that flesh. I want flesh. It's too chilly.
I don't want 90s comedians to tell me how much they want to touch flesh.
These are too chilly. I need to touch that.
I think 90s comedians are the least sexy genre of human to exist.
Skin.
So ultimately...
I'm thinking Jerry Seinfeld and, like, what's the guy? Oh! That guy.
Will it come down to us versus them?
There's some dire predictions in which the computers simply take over, and it turns out we've built the new masters and we've become the slaves.
Andrew Dice Clay, thank you.
Computers themselves don't evolve, but
Famous from the song You're Unbelievable. Oh!
the stuff that lives inside them is
Rodney Dangerfield is the sexiest man to ever live. How dare you? He's the exception that proves the rule.
really fluid.
He started prior to the 90s. Long before the 90s.
Interactive and can evolve.
You can't get no respect.
And eventually, I think, can reach the point where it starts to control the evolution of the container that it rises up in.
Could a computer learn to program itself? What then?
What's the deal with airplane food?
The next generation of
What's
computers
the deal with airplane food? Finally, a little respect.
may have to design themselves.
Sorry, I'm doing my best Grover Dangerfield impression. Grover Dangerfield? What the fuck was
Because
that
we
movie?
won't be able to do it.
There's certain
Best line in any movie ever? Oh, God.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
I think it's funny in that movie. I don't really like Caddyshack very much, but the part where he has, Any Way You Want It playing out of, like, his golf bag, and he's like, hit it! And it's like, anyway, That was good. That was fun. Rover Dangerfield. Thank you.
Computer scientists who I think, in partly because they're getting older, would like to dump their brain, onto some mega disk of the future. But if you work it out in terms of the amount of information that actually has to be sent, it's intractable right now. I don't think we have to worry about it for a while.
One of the things that computer workers sort of hope to do is to pass the torch of life, the torch of intelligence, onto the computer. It's like a new step of evolution almost.
If machine thought, quote, exceeds human thought, then I'd rather be a machine than a human, and we might as well kind of hand it over to them. And I mean, so what? Then they'll be more human than we are, and I'd be proud to have a machine be my grandchild.
Like, fine with transhumanism. I don't really give a shit. Again, it's all about, like, consent and what people want to do and informed consent and stuff. Is that lady okay, though? Because I think, that felt like I don't even know how you could possibly say you think a computer could be more human than human. It could be its own thing. It could certainly, in theory, if it had intelligence, be intelligence and deserving of rights. But a human is a human. It's kind of a self-defining thing. You can't be more human than human. That doesn't mean anything. H. Baird says, speaking of analog hacking, in high school I figured out how to hack the photocopier. The teacher had codes that meant that they didn't have to pay, which of course the students all knew. I figured out you could enter that code, hit the copy button, and hit cancel on the keypad, and it would copy without changing the code. Oh.
Well, it's easy to get carried away with these speculations. We can say, well, DNA is information, a machine is information, we're all just information. And yet you go outside and you look at like a tree, and the bark is just so incredibly complex. You look at the sky, there's just this wonderful fractal textures of the clouds. The universe has been running for billions of years. We like to fantasize and imagine that we're going to be able to create all of this inside, this 40 gig metal box, and it's not going to happen. It never will happen.
As long as we understand that the technology is really no more than a fancier stick to dig in the mud with, as long as we understand that we are the instrument, the human being, the human mind, the human heart is the instrument which uses this computer, that uses this spaceship, that uses this satellite, as long as we don't mistake our technology for us, there's a potential for a beautiful union there. But we must never forget that the human heart is at the center
celebrity, haven't you?
I have, and I have to
You're
talk
probably
to my...
more easily recognized than QVC hosts.
No, but I do have to talk to the people out there about recognition, okay? Half the time when I'm on an airplane or in a restaurant, I think people are staring at me. And so what happens is I'm standing there and here, bring that up, please. I'm standing there and I see this lady and she's looking at me, or this guy and she's looking at me. And I'm not sure whether she recognizes me from QVC or whether my fly is open or not. So I spend most of my time looking down there, and in the mall I keep doing this to check to see. And mall security picked me up the other day, and I would appreciate if the next time you think you recognize me, just go like that, like just a little bear ear sign, so I know that you recognize me, so I can stop checking my fly.
That's right, and you won't keep getting hauled away by security.
And you know, a lot of the mall security.
He's selling teddy bears, and the joke here was that he was removed from the mall because they thought he was masturbating. That's an interesting strategy for selling teddy bears.
Oh, Jesus. Thank you, Tommy. Mall security is very...
Anyway, enough about my mall masturbation, about the bears.
rough with that scripture.
Well, you know, they're very bright, usually.
They are. Thank you. Oh, and you think I'm going to get in trouble with Mr. Briggs? That's terrific.
Black's Law Dictionary request. What do you want me to look up?
You're not wearing your bear?
Self-incrimination. I wonder if it would be under incrimination or self-incrimination.
Oh, my barriers! I think I just shattered Tommy's...
I know.
Okay,
let's look under incrimination.
We're ready to sell
now
some bears.
Is big time.
And now, just so I can embarrass you further,
oh my
your
gosh,
own set of bear ears. So a matched little set.
Well, I understand that these belong to somebody in your warehouse.
They do.
And they bring him
belong
good luck?
to Al Atwell.
And they bring him luck?
They bring him luck. That's the. I mean, he walks in someplace and some girl says, "I like your ears," and that's the only way he can get a date. I gotta tell you. So if we don't bring these ears back to Al, he's doomed to a celibate lifestyle for the rest of his life.
But it'll help out my situation.
And hello, sailor. Think of the guys you'll attract.
Oh, well, I tell you what. All right, let's talk about poor Cleason here. We're totally neglecting Cleason.
Okay, so under incriminate, to charge with crime, to expose to an accusation or charge of crime to involve oneself or another in a criminal prosecution or the danger thereof, as in the rule that a witness is not bound to give testimony, which tend to incriminate. See inculpatory self-incrimination. So there is a self-incrimination in here.
He's brand new, and he's our preppy tennis bear.
Gleason is a good bear. He's a little yuppie bear, and he's wearing a very, very traditional sweater designed by a lady in Upper New York State.
Self-incrimination, acts or declaration either as testimony at trial or prior to trial, which one implicates himself in a crime. The Fifth Amendment, U.S. Constitution, as well as provisions in many state constitutions and laws, prohibit the government from requiring a person to be a witness against himself involuntarily or to furnish evidence against himself. It is the burden of the government to accuse and carry the burden of proof of guilt. The defendant cannot be compelled to aid government in this regard. Doesn't say anything about mall cops. Checkmate.
And that's a beautiful, beautiful hand-knit, all-wool sweater. I don't know if you can see the cabling in it. And Cleason is a curly bear. He's
Does your bear need a hand-knitted sweater?
And that
it is an inanimate bear.
Bear in particular, that Cleason will be retired this year.
Oh, really?
So probably by February of next year.
Okay, that's enough QVC. Pretty sure this is a song at the end that I only know about because of Red Letter Media.
Full.
Unless it's a different one.
Back to disc start. Correct this, maybe. Has been helpful.
No, this one doesn't have the music video.
On the operation disengage is in the run.
That's a shame.
It was a very nice offer from President Putin. And I could have said no thank you, or I could have said thank you. And I said, I'll take it.
Oh god, did they use AI to dub this? Sounds like they used an AI voice to dub this.
And now it's time to introduce my special co-host, Mr. Donald Trump.
Thank you, Susan, very much for being here.
It's Nikki.
Oh, never mind, not dubbing it.
Name whatever you want to name.
Well, maybe they are dubbing over him with an AI voice. That's something I hadn't considered. Impressionists, apparently your job is over. They're just gonna poorly ADR AI voices over people who can't lip sync. Oh god.
Just, I love that idea. I think I can do that. It's an amazing country with, so many friends in Russia, and I'm very excited to be here. They're very nice. I make a lot of money with them. They pay me millions and hundreds of millions.
Yeah, the face is deepfake.
Oh, here's a nice one. Here's a nice one. A great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. And I'll build them very inexpensively. A great, great wall. And just in case you're worried about who's going to pay for it, Mexico will pay for it.
Hi, I'm Stan Lee, editor of the Marvel
Pre-mustache Stan scares me.
Comics group of superhero comic magazines. Comic books have been a big business for the past 25
Stan legitimately looks older here in the 60s than he did in the 90s when he cameoed in Mallrats. And I don't know how that's possible. Oh.
years, and they're bigger than ever today.
Is this stream going to be on YouTube? Yeah, I'm going to export it after the fact.
With this in mind, you'll be interested to know that the Marvel Comics group is the acknowledged leader in monthly sales of all comic magazines published today. As a matter of fact, our sales have tripled in the past 3 years, which is quite a publishing phenomenon. Our superheroes are the kind of people that you or I would be if we had a superpower, which sets them apart from all other superheroes published today and seems to be the reason that they're actually far more popular than any others. Now then, it would seem that the big problem is this. Can the enthusiasm for these comic magazines...
They screw over basically every comic creator alive. Oh yeah! There's some serious problems with Stan fucking Lee. He created a mythology for himself, that's for fucking sure. Never ask Stan Lee's ghost how he got his job at Marvel. It was ratting out employees for moonlighting at DC. He was a snitch. He snitched on artists and writers that were working for another company that weren't supposed to, but they weren't getting paid well enough by Marvel, so they were using pen names and different names over at DC, and he snitched on them! And also he got the job because a family member of his owned Timely Comics. So, there's that, too.
I really realized that I had fallen in love and that, I mean, all the feelings I'd ever felt, loving feelings I had ever felt, I was feeling, and they were so intensified. It was,
I'm gonna save this, but I don't want to watch something serious right now. Oh my god, is it another they did multiple with this is a whole show.
No black person hasn't been in.
Oh my god.
How soon will it be before we start pricing our own personal transporter in the showroom of the future? How long before we can actually say, beam me up? Well, gotta go.
A day at the Epcot Center. In the 90s? That sounds boring. What?
Look,
This is
Carl,
called You've Had Worse Things in Your Mouth.
I don't expect you to be able to take years off my face. I just want you to get last night off.
Oh, don't you worry about a thing, Miss Gordon. That's one of the advantages of being a mortuary cosmetologist. One becomes accustomed to seeing clients with horrifying looks on their faces.
Mortuary cosmetologist?
Oh, yes. Normally I work at Glenlawn Funeral Home. But since this show's on a tight budget, and I'm interested in getting some experience working on the non-expired, I was able to give the producers a really good deal. By the way, would you mind being perfectly still?
Seems like a Neil Breen film. Okay, I didn't bring it up. I talked about it on Discord. I watched the most recent Neil Breen film, not his best work. I don't know if he shot it during COVID, but everything is on a green screen, and it's so much less fun. There's plenty of really fucking funny moments in it, because it is a Neil Breen movie, but, like, overall, I think it suffered from not shooting on location anywhere, or even having sets. Disappointing.
Fine. Where's Oprah?
They say she's unavailable.
Did they get Donahue?
He's busy too.
Montel Williams?
He's booked.
Yeah.
Put a pinch of parsley, add a cup of nuts.
A cooking show for the recipe impaired.
If you got the nose, you've had worse things in your mouth.
No, I got the DVD of the Neil Breen movie. He literally himself individually, if you buy a DVD on his website, burns individual discs to DVD-Rs and sends them to you.
No, not me. Don't tell my mama now. Hi, welcome to You've Had Worse Things in Your Mouth cooking show, where interesting celebrities and guests come into my home to cook and tell me all about their lives. I'm Billy Gordon.
Answer it, Billy.
Oh, excuse me for a second. Hello. Are you sick? Ooh, you sound terrible.
So are they going to do actual cooking, or is this just the premise for a bad comedy show?
Fine, but I'm right in the middle of my cooking show right now. Listen, can I call you back? Yeah, but this is an emergency. According to this article that I read in Mother of the Bride magazine, overweight women your age stand less of a chance of getting married than they do of being chewed to death by a rabid nun. Mother, I'm the top greeting card model in the world. I've authored 4 books, and I'm getting ready to do my cooking show.
She's a greeting card model?
Today, I'm not really worried about getting married. What? Not worried about getting married? Are you on crack? No, I'm a glamorous celebrity, and I don't have time for this right now. Goodbye, dear. Sorry about that. Now, today's guest is just a little bit late, so we're going to get started without him. First of all, you don't have to be Gene Dixon to figure out that I like to eat. But you know what? The foods that I like are like the men that I like. Honey, they're terrible for your heart. So what I've done is I've taken all those great soul food dishes.
Okay, so it is a cooking show, but it's supposed to be a comedy too. Okay?
And I've made them healthy, which is why I use a lot of fish. Because you've never seen a fat fish, right? Anyway, I love sausage.
Like, it's an interesting concept. The idea of a cooking show that is strung together with actual recipes, but everything around it is funny, or at least humorous. Like, Alton Brown would do this later with, like, Good Eats. So, like, this has definitely been tried and succeeded later, I guess. But, like, ugh.
Worst thing in the world, right? Not if you make it out of fish. Now, you take 2 pounds of ground fish, which you can get from your fish market. Just ask your fishmonger to do it. Put it in a bowl. Put in like 5 tablespoons of sage. And then we put in, now I know I'm not measuring this, but see, honey, I have this in my head because, you know, I'm a professional.
Okay, so here's the problem. With Good Eats, which is a great show, if you haven't seen Good Eats, Alton Brown's really great. He explains the science of food as well as, like, is funny and charismatic and interesting. Anyway, with that, it's the jokes and the recipes are marbled in more. They're layered like a lasagna, you know? It's here's actual information, but it's also a joke. Here's actual information, but also a joke. This, it's like, here's a comedy sketch, and then a pretty much serious cooking demonstration, and then I assume there'll be another sketch. Like, they're not meshing. It's like I'm watching two different shows running simultaneously.
Professional cook. Put in some parsley.
Not even simultaneously, just intermixed. It's weird.
Some ground onion. And some garlic. And a little fennel seed. And really, the amount of these spices that you put in all depends on your taste. And we put in a little bit of paprika. You know, I had a girlfriend named Paprika once, but then she got paroled. Anyway, you mix...
That's supposed to be a joke. Again, the overall premise of a funny cooking show is not bad, but this execution is not good. Nah. Square dancing tractors. That's the soundtrack I would expect. There's the tractors. Is it they're like driving the tractors synchronized, like synchronized dancing or swimming, but for tractors? That's fine. It's a little funny, but I don't really give a shit. I'm glad if they find that fun. No video, huh? We're just gonna do some stills. Show me it, you goddamn cowards. Oh, drag. Fun. But I thought that people from rural areas thought drag was evil.
Oh, coming in. You fell out of the haymow when you were milking the cows this morning? Are you gonna be all right? We're a mighty small town, you know, so we have to use the smallest balloons we can. We're worried about the sun going down. Turn you around. Lift those tires. Barely make a sound. Turn you around. Barely make a sound. Woo! Looking good out there tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you had the view I have. The balloons are right.
Probably true, Mr. Duck Sauce. Probably how they'd be with you.
Send your leg to the right-hand star. You square up, push you up from far. Right-hand star.
All right, this is no offense. Again, I'm glad they're having fun, but if I was here, I'd already be like, all right, I've seen them do the thing. I'm done. How much longer is this? It goes on for an hour. And to be clear, again, no problem with this. I'm glad they seem to be having a good time, but is this really an hour-long premise? Look at us drive our tractors near each other? I don't know. I think that you can squeeze a good 20 minutes out of that if you have some comedy bits. But even then, you're ringing it real hard. The gambling videos are so interesting to me, specifically the ones about slots, because there's no strategy to win slots. It's the slot machine. But here we are, a whole hour-long video. So you want to be a gambler, learn how to win at slots. An hour?
Audience that I have to talk to. We've done 22.
This isn't even the first slot video we've seen. This looks more well-produced than the last one, but they're both scams.
On slot machines. We're going to do a tape. Obviously, we're going to do a tape on slot machines. This is the toughest audience that I have to talk to. We've done 22 tapes on every type of gambling. Craps, blackjack, baccarat, roulette. You can talk on and on and on because there are set patterns of play. And now we talk to the slot player. I wrote a book on slot machines.
You wrote a whole-ass book!
There's 41 systems.
Don't get me wrong, I think it's interesting to know. Like, I've seen documentaries before about, like, here's how casinos function, here's how slot machines work. It's interesting to know how they work, just from, like, a curiosity perspective. But, it doesn't help you win. There's no way to win. How to win at slot machines.
Strange game.
The only winning move is not to play. It's a great movie.
Obviously, I'm not going to give you 41 systems in the slot machine tape. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you about 7 systems.
Excite him for the limit.
You know what I thought was a good idea? I don't believe in prompters. I don't have any written material because I want to talk right from the shoulder. So what's your chances of winning or losing?
Wow. So you're just winging it, and this came out to an hour still? Jesus.
That's all you really care about. So you know what I did is I went
it's
to
a big book. Wonder what the font size is.
Contents part of the book.
What's the word count?
And I took the different chapters and I'll pose it as a question to give you quick answers. There are 464 pages in there. So
did he get permission to film in here, or is he just trying to get this done before he gets kicked out?
Obviously, the tape can't be as long as the book is. So what I'm going to do is cut short the answers on some of the obvious questions. Now, this is an introduction to slot machines. We're standing down here in a section. We're at a dollar machine. You can see this right here. And I want to give you an idea of how you start your day. Should I play the slots? You want to play the slot machines? I have never, in all the time I've been teaching gambling, told you not to play the slots. There are other games to play. There are table games, craps, blackjack, baccarat, roulette. But if you want to play slots and you don't know the other games, then there's a way to play them based on money management and discipline. Should you play the slots?
Don't play them! You will lose! Statistically, you will lose! That's how the whole system works, is most people lose!
The reality of slot machines. Just like in any form of gambling. The reason you people lose is because you don't realize the reality of gambling. What's the reality? Your chances of winning and losing. There's no secret formula. There's no special way to...
thank fuck. Is this video just... This is great. If the video is him literally being like, there is nothing you can do.
Pull the handle.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
You could stand on your head on a Tuesday if you're wearing pink shorts, and you can pull the handle with your left leg, and then you've got a chance of winning, but only if it's raining out. Now, that's the best I can give you. Other than that, it comes down to money management and discipline. The reality of slot machines is that they run in streaks and trends. I'm going to show you how to find a trend, how to take advantage of trends, and how to leave a table when a trend is not...
Damn it. Nope. He was like, there are no secrets, but also... Here's how to spot the trends.
Not happening.
Fuck off. You were this close. You were this close to me being like, oh, he's trying to tell them to be responsible with their money, only spend what you can lose. No.
You're not going to win the jackpot all the time. Somebody's going to win it. I want you to accept small percentage.
Asshole. Ronald Reagan's ranch in the sky. What in the fuck? Is this just 20 minutes of them masturbating about Reagan?
This is an Anglo Arab. Thoroughbred and Arabian. I remember.
God fucking damn it.
And I will pass it on.
Oh no! No, no! Hold on, real quick. It's up here somewhere. Where did I put it? There it is. Don't worry, chat. To cancel out the Reagan dick suck, I have brought Bedtime for Bonzo, the movie where he's starring with a chimpanzee. Does that do anything for you?
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United
And there's the goat.
Man. Constitution of the United States.
They
Captain
expect
Squid
you
says,
to tell
okay.
your children that the American people no longer have the will to cope with their problems, that the future will be one of sacrifice and...
I know he had a bunch of movies. This is the one where he's with a chimp, though. This is Bedtime for Bonzo. This is my only Ronald Reagan film, and it's funny because there's a monkey. Sorry, I don't have the whole Ronald Reagan collection. Nemesaur! Holy shit, Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 20 Tier 1 subs! Very, very generous of you. Thank you. Ronald Reagan? The actor? Who's the vice president? Jerry Lewis? I suppose Jane Wyman is the... Oh, fuck, what's the line? I suppose Jane Wyman is the... Fuck.
My fellow citizens, I utterly reject that view.
Is the first lady. Is that the joke?
We're not, as some would have us believe, doomed to an inevitable decline. I do not believe in a fate that will fall on us no matter
Was Reagan
what we
a good
do.
actor? He pretended not to be Satan for a long time, so...
I do believe in a fate...
But I want the rest of Reagan's filmography. Like, if I won the lottery and could just buy any movie I ever wanted, sure, but, like, it's not on my list at all in terms of things I care to own versus other things.
That will fall on us if we...
Wait, Reagan made more movies with that goddamn chimp? Okay, I do want the if there are more Reagan chimp movies, yes, I want those, obviously.
Do nothing.
What a man. We laughed with him, wept with him, rejoiced with him.
Oh, fuck off.
We saw him bring strength, prosperity, and
This is a
pride.
disgusting attitude to have towards any president, quite frankly. This is like too you're putting a human being up on a pedestal. And he's not even a good one of the people. In terms of people, not a good one. Did I sell the rest of my Ronald Reagan movies to Iran for money so you could arm Nicaraguan rebels? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I got a guy who knew about it. I got Oliver North. We're good. We're good. We're good. He's smoothing things over now on Fox News.
Back to America.
Proud to know you. Proud to know you too, sir.
In short, we saw a president with humility, honesty, and
This is pathetic.
principles set out to change a nation and end up changing the world.
Oh my god, the
Mr.
propaganda!
Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Our children, our grandchildren could meet this man
Charlton
and understand Ronald Reagan and learn what greatness is. I'm Charlton Heston.
Learn what greatness is.
I want to talk to you about making history, American history, and...
Okay, that's all I can stomach of the Ronald Reagan, like masturbatory video. We will watch that in full on someday because that is fucking hilarious. But no, I can't handle that much Reagan. This person has a lot of, like, LGBT stuff. That's cool. I'm glad that's getting cataloged by someone. Why can't I hear this person? Are they just, like, crazy quiet? What in the world?
The Black Coalition.
Oh, maybe it was a mic issue.
Assembly Speaker. In San Francisco, we have Brandy Moore, Senior Assistant.
This is from PBS in... Just have the year on it. I don't see a year, but it's PBS Pride Out, a town meeting.
To California Assembly Speaker.
Tori says, so I want to know which one of the 7 frigate-class vessels Iran has is going to be patrolling Antarctica, since apparently Iran made a claim to be to the continent, according to Fox News.
Willie Brown, and Chairman of the Black Coalition on AIDS. Reggie Williams, Project Director for the National Task Force on AIDS Prevention. And Alan Miller, a high school teacher and actor who appeared in...
Yeah, Stromboli, unfortunately, yeah. I'd probably want to see that.
Untied. Let's start with you, Alan. What was it like for you as a gay black man, a high school teacher, to be involved in the making of this movie?
A couple of things. One, it was very exciting. It was a lot of fun to do. Another thing is
Part 4.
that
Do they have part 1 through 3? Again, that's a little serious. It's interesting, but I probably want to set that on like a day where we can do like, I don't know, maybe I think it'd be good this Pride Month to maybe do some VHS vaults that are all about old legacy LGBT media. Just see how public discussion about LGBT people has changed over the decades. Might be interesting. Save. Oh no! This is not a video I want to watch, but I'll do it for you, chat, because I appreciate all of you. Ugh.
They are tiny, lightweight miracles of nature. A monarch butterfly weighs no more than a paperclip. Yet every year, hundreds of millions of these remarkable creatures fly over 2,000 miles from their summer home in Minnesota.
See, an individual one like this is gross to me, but I can handle it. But when it's a swarm? When it's a swarm of butterflies? No. Nope.
To this tiny piece of forest in central Mexico. But that lovely orange and black...
H-Baird says, speaking of lost LGBT media...
You're gay! You're gay! You're gay! You're gay! You're gay! You're gay! You're gay!
Was that actually ever a line of one of her songs, or is it just a line that sounds like that without the context, but in reality she's saying something else? I genuinely don't know.
Butterfly we know so well may be doomed because of what's going on here.
Thank you, Stromboli, for the link. Let me make sure I save that real quick. Save it. It's the channel, dude. Thank you.
I'm Jason Davis.
Like, if I was in this forest, I would not be functional. I'm not joking. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie to you. Of course, I play it up a little bit for you guys, but not as much as you would think. I am genuinely uncomfortable and disturbed. I don't like looking at this. This grosses me out. It's disgusting. It's the fluttering. It's the fluttering. They're everywhere, and they're gonna touch me with their gross, fluttery, thin, disgusting wings. Don't fucking touch
me.
me.
To find out what's going on, and to tell you how Minnesota researchers and school children are playing a major
did she really say that? Holy shit.
Role in saving the monarchs.
That's an unfortunate lyric. Let me be clear. I don't want butterflies to go extinct or anything. They're endangered. They should be saved. I just don't want them near me. I don't want to go into a butterfly house.
Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, goodbye.
Thank you for the fuller links,
We need to help the butterflies.
I am a monarch butterfly. I left Mexico too. I play too.
Oh my gosh.
Young and old, we are all drawn to this beautiful, harmless creature.
No!
Its quiet elegance and apparent fearlessness makes it a wild animal that's user-friendly. And what other creature can be seen by the tens of millions in one glance?
Like, it makes me want to throw up. It's awful. What is wrong with you people? They're tricking you. You're being tricked. Ugh. Anyway, moving on. What? Film Advisory Board Award winner, Award of Excellence. Some people say that about cats, and that's fine. They're entitled to that opinion. I don't agree with them. It's fine. And I'm saying it humorously. I don't actually think that. I get why people think they're cute. They're harmless. I just have it. I have some weird phobia. It's a phobia. It's not rational.
It was a magical happening in space, for 3 remarkable bursts of starlight had set course for a most fantastic place. Now everything was going just fine, till they met the greatest force within your mind.
That's what I was trying
imagination.
to say, Mr. Duck Sauce.
Oh, aren't we in a hurry?
Hey, who are you?
What? I'm imagination.
Oh, imagine that.
So where you headed, my starry-eyed friends?
We're on our way to Earth.
Oh, but you'll need my help for that.
Oh, they did indeed, for they would need earthly frames and special names.
Well, how about that? I'm Solar. I'm Moonshine. I'm Luster. Thanks, imagination.
Always keep your eyes and ears open to all that lies ahead. If you don't, if you judge unfairly, you'll end up nowhere. And believe me, that's nowhere to be.
So long, imagination. Are you guys ready? We sure are. Hold on, then. Here we go!
Climb aboard.
Oh, this is very 70s. This is 86? Why does it look so 70s?
On some busy street or on desert sand. In our dreams we can fly anywhere that we want to. All we need is to want to be loved. In our hearts there's a key that will open the doorway. And the key to the
It was in the 80s, but given a 70s budget. That makes sense. Like, even the music does not scream 86 to me. It feels like the 70s. Magic's, like, is this, there's, like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, because I gotta look this up. Did they mislabel it? Oh, apparently they rebooted it at some point, I think. Or maybe they just redid the human parts with animation and kept the stock footage. This is a Spanish language version. That might be why, too. Sorry, I just feel sus about the year.
Wow! Wow, here we are, another trip. I wasn't sure we were going to make this one. Well, we did, and we're ready to go. Yeah, wow. Where are we going? Yeah, where are we going this time? What? Oh, hello out there. Oh, hi, guys. I didn't know you were out there. Where are we going? Today, we're going to visit something very special. Yeah, we're going to visit storks. Oh, we're going to watch them bring babies. No, we're going to watch them bring stork babies.
It's under Ninjago. How's it going?
Well, there's a lot of myths about storks, but we're going to see about that now. Are you ready? Yeah. We're going to go to Europe, and we're going to visit some storks. Oh, listen to Stork and the rest of the kids. Ready? Here we go. Now, winter turns to spring in Europe, and the white storks return from Africa to spend the summer. It's like they're Miami Beach. It's like they're Miami Beach, right? Is that a stork? That's a stork. He's a good flyer for a bird. He's a great flyer for a bird. Birds are terrific flyers. In fact, they fly better than fish, except for the flying fish. Or the flying nun. Oh, never mind. Storks love to live in busy villages.
So is this just literally him doing puppet voices over stock footage, and that's primarily what the show is? Because that's pretty funny.
And cities, and instead of making their nests a lot in trees the way most birds do, they like to make them on man-made objects like buildings.
It's funny that they put like the ship that they're supposed to be on here. I get it. They're supposed to be observing this, but the scale is fucked and it's just distracting.
Churches. In fact, they like church bell towers a great deal. Don't they say That they had a ringing in their ears that way? No, I guess it doesn't bother them. They like it there.
You barely hear him changing voices. It's like me doing a chick trash.
Hey, watch the way he's slapping. You were too close to him. There you go. Yeah, we better be careful. We come too close to those big wings and we might get hurt.
You gotta be careful between these jump cuts.
They love chimneys because of the heat. Look how they land. Feet down. Look at that. Clunk, right down. Lower the wings, yeah. What is this? Say, what is that anyway? That's the top of a tower. Oh, and on top
it's
of
like he didn't prepare for this. It's like he literally was like, we're gonna do it live. I'm gonna say whatever comes to mind, which, believe me, is not a good idea for a show. I do it all the time. That's the premise of my show. It's terrible.
Tower is a storky. A storky.
You'll never be clever enough of the time. Believe me.
Yes.
Believe me.
All right. In fact, a lot of people encourage their storks, yeah, to build homes up there. They start building nests for them so that they will encourage the birds to be there. You know, the amazing thing was that the birds are the closest thing to reptiles on the prehistoric times, and yet the storks are loved by everybody, just like regular birds are, yeah. And yet the prehistoric
I think they need to cut back to this shot more, because this helps continue to establish, like, they're in this ship. They're in this weird thing that rotates around them, and it's supposed to be a ship. This helps establish that. And the stuff behind them, it's fine.
It's real yucky. That's right.
The juxtaposition between how wacky the framing device is and how dryly he's delivering it is incredible. Like, it's supposed to be, look, we're aliens and we're visiting the Earth, but he's just talking about it like, like there's no whimsy at all.
They have long migration routes. They're terrific flyers. They can fly.
He just wants to read you the Wikipedia page for storks. The producer made him do the alien shit.
Hours and hours and hours without stopping. In fact, they can fly up to 20,000 feet in the air. With their flats up or down? With their flaps up, I guess. Oh, it's breezy up there, isn't it? Yeah. You know what? They know just when to start making their nest, and they make their nest during the time when they get there.
I'm gonna remake this show, and it's just gonna be me info dumping about Blu-rays and movies to puppets that I have. It's gonna be exactly delivered like this.
Waiting until it gets warmer. And that's when they hatch their eggs? Well, that's when they lay them, and then they sit on them and hatch them. Oh. And you know, the amazing thing is where some birds just fly around, yeah, they have one mate for life. Once they decide to mate, that's it. They set up housekeeping together, yes.
He's not even switching voices consistently when he's answering himself as the other characters. The Hannah Puppet Hour? Hold on. Well, hi there, kids. I'm Flimsy Floon, or whatever I said my name was last time I was here. That's the bit. I didn't think this out further. The joke was I have a puppet. It's not a joke. That's just a thing that happened.
There's a family. Well, there's a mommy and daddy, but they don't have any babies yet.
Bring back Saki. Okay, give me a sec. Well, hi everyone, I'm Saki. This is a bit I did one time a while ago that someone remembers, apparently. Sock puppets are an original character, right? You know, you don't realize how far you can fall when even you weren't up that high in the first place, you know? Anyway.
So that's just a male and female. Very good. Thank you. What'd you have to do with it? Nothing. I just thought I'd say thank you. It's your little kid. Hey, is imagination around? I don't know. Why don't you check? Imagination!
What?
Oh, you're there.
Here I am.
Where are you?
I'm on the moon.
Oh. That's where she always is.
Oh.
You're in a rush, kid.
I know. I've hung up my tutu.
Yeah, why did you do that?
And I've...
It's like the DreamWorks moon that's a literal crescent.
I don't know what to do, and then...
Leaning against a little... There's these little heat pockets underneath there.
Oh, this is just
No, not a new sweater. A new heater on the moon.
Oh, a new heater?
Yeah.
How about an old heater and a new sweater?
Okay.
And a new pair of shoes?
Yes.
We'll have to consider this. Go take this up to the next...
The low resolution is doing his poor ventriloquism a lot of favors. I can't play this. This is from Legends of Tomorrow. This is literally newer shit. But hold on. He is also right here, so... Just imagine this, but in motion. Hannah, do you just have every Blu-ray in the world under your desk? Yes. It's a Mary Poppins desk, obviously. Stop asking. It's a desk of holding. Funny. This is just a bunch of horror trailers, I think. Sleepaway Camp.
Is something wrong?
And the kids. All night.
Ooh, From Beyond, that's good.
What the hell is that? I'm going.
So good at Blu-rays, I have ones that don't for films that don't exist yet. Shh, don't tell the MPAA. Desk's bigger on the inside. It's true.
Hey.
Yes, I do like that song, and I love that show, too. Inside's great. The world that's around us is pretty amazing. Don't you know the world is built with blood and violence? Since the Apple Vision Pro thing has been in the discussion, in the discourse lately, let's take a look at a product from 1995. Someone name a movie. Let's see if I have it directly within reach of me.
Another night at home, and it's getting dreary. You've watched TV till your eyes are bleary. It's the same old thing in the same old way. The more things change.
Roar, it's downstairs. My Army of Darkness is downstairs.
The more they stay.
I do have both those movies, though.
Big screen TV, and there's not enough room. And the neighbors complain if you let the
I have
sound...
Roar on Blu-ray and Army of Darkness on 4K, which came out last year from Scream Factory.
Boom. Maybe 3D glasses will help things a bit.
Liza, She-Wolf of the SS. I actually don't have that. I've looked at it, but personally, I drew a line for myself personally. Not really into, like, Nazi exploitation stuff. I have, like, the things that I am, like, the most icky and, like, weird, like, I have them because I think preserving evil things is interesting. So, for instance, I have a copy of Triumph of the Will from Leni Riefenstahl. But, like, that's an actual historical thing that I've sat down and watched, like, with commentary, for instance. It has commentary from historians talking about the Nazi propaganda and how it worked, and that was fascinating. So, like, I'm glad I own that. But stuff that's just, like, Nazi exploitation, I don't know. Doesn't do it for me. I do have But I'm a Cheerleader. It's downstairs. Wings, the silent movie. That's what I actually don't own. You got me. Don't have that one. If I did, it'd be up here, because that's where I have my, like, older cinema. Birth of a Nation. Yeah, I have that one. Hold on. Birth of a Nation, and Uncle Tom's Cabin to offset slightly. I've talked about this before too, which I think is important. More important, I think, than like propaganda and scary, awful things from the past are underserved creators in the past. For instance, I have these sets from Kino Lorber in conjunction with the Library of Congress put this out, and they are pioneers of African American. Oh, wrong one. Pioneers of African American cinema, pioneers of first women filmmakers. So these are about people you probably haven't heard of because they were like early pioneers of cinema that were black or women. And then I have this one that was also put out by Kino. I don't know if this one was with the Library of Congress, but this is Jewish Soul, 10 Classics of Yiddish Cinema. Similar. So I always like to point that out whenever I'm like, yeah, I have really gross, evil propaganda. To be clear, it's not it's an outlier in the sense that it's evil. I am just very into old film preservation and having that stuff. I'm not a creep. Someone else said Metropolis. It is up here. It's my Metropolis. My Song of the South is downstairs with my Disney stuff. Because it's a Disney movie. Where'd the noise go?
But you don't know how. Bummer. What you need is a personal viewing and listening system that fits your needs, fits your wants, and fits your room. Now you've got it. Congratulations. You've entered
Bambi
the
vs.
future.
Godzilla exists. It's a short animation that was viral on the early internet.
Where advanced
I think it got passed around physically before that, but it, you know.
optical tech.
Reefer Madness? Yeah, I have that right here. Reefer Madness and Sex Madness. Kino, in conjunction with Something Weird, puts these out. This is from a whole collection that I have the whole thing that's up to date. All their weird exploitation bullshit things. There are 14 volumes of that so far, and that's all my yellow ones down here. Those are the exploitation. 70s Italian Godzilla. I don't have that. I do have my Godzilla stuff down here, another kaiju, but I do not have Italian Godzilla.
Technology brings you...
The only live-action Godzilla movies that I'm missing are the 80s Godzilla versus Mothra and the 80s Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. But I have all the other ones. I don't have Freaks. I'm still holding out for a Blu-ray. I'm hoping Freaks comes out on Blu-ray. I do like Freaks. I really do. I think Alex Winter probably deserved a lot more credit than he got. But waiting for a Blu-ray.
Virtual I/O.
Don't have daisies.
Eyeglasses.
Freaks may have been released on DVD. I'm not sure if it ever got, anything else. Oh, sorry, Stromboli was talking about Italian Godzilla.
Now you'll experience things you never saw before, in a way you never thought possible.
Eraserhead, downstairs with my other Criterion stuff.
Watch.
A lot of my Criterion stuff.
A video...
No, I moved all my Criterion stuff downstairs.
Video revolution. Video that's up close and personal. Video and sound from your TV, VCR, CD-ROM, and PC. Video from your electronic games. And better
imagine how dog shit this thing must have looked in the 90s. 95
still,
this came out?
Video in 3D.
I don't have Fritz the cat.
Yes. This is Eyeglasses, the personal display system from Virtual I/O. If you just purchased your eyeglasses, you're now part of the future, and you're in for countless hours of fun.
You're now part of the future.
As soon as you learn to operate.
Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death. No, I have Cannibal Holocaust, I have Jungle Holocaust. I have some of those kind of movies, but I don't have that now.
The virtual I/O eyeglasses. So please watch this brief program.
I don't even know what that is. Alothus.
Before you attempt to operate your virtual I/O personal display system. It will make it easier and safer. The program is divided into 7 segments.
I like that you guys are naming vaguely, like titles almost no one has heard of.
Let's get started with segment 1, the gear. Play this tape as you unpack your box.
It's a Ralph Bakshi movie. Gotcha.
Be prepared to put
I don't even have like his Lord of the Rings.
Tape in pause mode from time to time. If you have your box open, let's make sure everything that's
Pocket Ninjas, no, but the 3-pack is coming out, and I think it's on my list. Live-action animated satirical film written by Ralph Bakshi. Film references Uncle Remus's folk tales and satirizes the blaxploitation film genre as well as Disney's racially controversial film Song of the South. Gotcha. So it's intentional. I see. Where were we?
Supposed to be here is here. Let's see. Your eyeglasses unit with an opaque visor attached. The visor can be removed if you'd like it better that way. And at the end of the cord, the connector block. Now carefully remove the connector cords. They will have 3 RCA
jacks. Oh, is this like an actual live show at a mental institution? Was this sort of a take on, was this them trying to do a one-up on Johnny Cash or doing some sort of pastiche of Johnny Cash performing at, that prison? 'Cause it feels a little like that.
On each end.
That's cool.
Each will have a different color. And finally, the AC power transformer and cord. There should also be a user's manual and a registration card. Remember to save your box and packing material to serve as your storage container. Now let's double check the list. Put this tape on pause while you make sure everything is here. Got it all?
I have none of it.
Good. We can go on to segment 2.
I've never heard of the Groove 2.
Cup. Setting it all up and getting some pictures.
Let's see what my up-to-date movie count is. 2,595. I have 2,595 films and TV shows.
And sound. Let's start with the main unit, the eyeglasses. Notice on top, here is the mute button, the volume control, and a switch for standard or 3D.
Dreamscape? Nope. Don't Eat the Daisies? Nope.
Play.
You're naming movies I don't have, which makes me sad.
On the sides, high-fidelity earphones that fit comfortably.
That's on me. I guess I just need to get more movies.
Over your ears. Now watch this. After you do, we'll pause the tape again while you hook up your set. Grab the connector box. Plug the power cord jack into the plug marked Power. Don't plug the adapter in.
I'm just joking, alt fact. It's fine.
Into the wall yet.
I do have Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That comes.
The Gay Deceivers. Hold on. Is that some kind of The Gay Deceivers? 1969? I actually don't have this. I'm familiar with it. People have shown this to me, but I do not have it. I actually don't know if that's been released. Could be. I'm just saying I've not seen it anywhere, but I wasn't looking, so...
Later.
You just picked it up?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now get your 3-pronged connector cable for video and audio. Plug the video jack into the plug marked Video. Good. Plug the one of the 2 remaining jacks
Show
into
me all the
power
things I can do with my overpriced eyeball monitors.
Now, turn down the sound by pushing the volume control here. We don't want to get blasted, do we? Okay, let us show you how to put the
Don't tell me what I want.
On. Then you do it, and you'll be viewing the rest of this program using your eyeglasses. Pull the band over your head. You can tighten, worry, it's probably into the shower or tub. Seeing 3. Now adjust the volume to your comfort level. Okay, you're all set. You'll be seeing 3D movies in a moment.
What was this? Thank you for the link. Where are we?
But first, segment 4, safety check. Some real quick safety tips. Don't take your eyeglasses into the shower or tub with you.
Oh.
Never walk, drive, or use the headset in any way that puts you in danger of your surroundings.
Might be good for people to think about moving forward.
Remember, although you have good peripheral vision, part of your vision is obscured. You should allow for that. Use your peripheral vision to maintain your frame of reference and eliminate motion sickness if you start to feel queasy. We suggest that younger children not be allowed to operate the virtual IO eyeglasses unless an adult is close at hand. In short, use common sense when you're operating the unit.
Thanks for the link, streaming at 3D.
Now, the most important instruction. Have a super good time. Enjoy yourself and your new way of experiencing electronic playback. If you'll now set your selector switch to 3D, you're ready for segment 5.
Oh boy. I'm trying to think, even me, how many 3D movies do I own? I don't even know if they have 3D settings on them. Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare has an ending sequence that's 3D, but I don't think the Blu-ray I have has it in 3D. Friday the 13th, 3D, but again, my version I don't think is 3D. GOG 3D I have. How much 3D media was available when this came out? Really? Jaws 3D? Yeah. I do have Jaws 3. I have all the Jaws movies. Unfortunately. I actually like Jaws 3. Jaws 2 was unwatchable to me because it's just boring. The first Jaws movie is just a great movie. Jaws 3 is when it gets schlocky and stupid. And I'm there for that. The revenge is kind of funny. Oh, this is supposed to be 3D. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's not that kind of 3D, so this doesn't help me. Oh, I just want to look up anaglyph. Wait. 3D video. Or 3D glasses. There's one! Oh my god, they did one for Avatar as well. Kind of funny. If you have 3D glasses, put them on now. Do I have Ghost Shark? No. Wow. It is 3D. Put on your Spy Kids 3D Game Over glasses that I handed to all of you at the beginning of the stream. If you weren't here for that, show up earlier next time and you'll get your glasses. I do have Ghost Dad. I have Ghost Dad on Blu-ray. I have a special edition Ghost Dad on Blu-ray from Germany. It's an import someone sent me. Well, that was certainly something. On the next VHS vault, can we do smell-o-vision? Yeah, I'll get those cards made up right away. Okay, this is hurting my eyes. And it's probably very boring if you don't have 3D glasses, which is the vast majority of you, I would assume. This channel has some old Scientology stuff. That's interesting.
Join Nancy Isaacs as she gives us a commentary on Scientology and some of the controversy that has been surrounding it.
If you are interested in or just curious about Scientology, let me give you some facts about this religion. Yes, I said religion. Scientologists state that it is a religion in the truest sense of the word, a study of wisdom and a study of life. Based on the fact that man is a spiritual being, Scientology, like most other religions, seeks to increase the person's understanding of himself, his fellow men, and the world around him.
It has nothing to do with giving money to David Miscavige. How dare you imply that? That would be interesting for Cult Watch to go through a bunch of old Scientology stuff. Oh, I remember this. I think I actually remember this. I think my dentist gave me this video or something, or had me watch it once.
This is a
8 minutes.
Story
I
about
think when I was waiting, they had me watch it as a kid or something.
Gina, who lived in a very nice house in a very nice town with her father, who was a giraffe, and her mother, who was a giraffe.
Agreed, Stromboli. I like doing this stuff.
But that was okay, because Gina was a giraffe too. And Gina was very happy because she had just gotten her first big tooth. But one night, Gina's mother found her crying.
Gina, what's wrong?
I'm afraid.
Oh, of what, honey?
I'm afraid my big tooth is gonna fall out just like my baby teeth.
Oh, gee, well, that's a scary thought. But you know, Gina, if you take care of your permanent teeth, you'll have them for a long time.
I will?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna brush right now.
Great.
Or then you'll end up like me and just never get adult teeth, like this one. I just never had an adult tooth behind it. It was a genetic anomaly. Same with this one. This tooth on the other side is still a baby tooth. It's just never fallen out because there's no adult tooth to push it out. The other one got knocked out, even though there wasn't an adult one, which sucks. So I still have some baby teeth. Not just that one, but some in the back as well.
Your new teeth are coming, so make them feel at home. Your new teeth are here to stay, not to go and roam. So brush right and eat smart every day, and you'll have a sparkle smile that'll never go away. New teeth coming to stay. New teeth never go away. New teeth coming to stay.
You didn't know that could happen? Yeah, I was born without wisdom teeth too, so I never had to have them taken out or anything. I just was born sans wisdom teeth.
New teeth are coming, and they're coming to stay.
Wow! You sparkles are great!
Thanks, Gina. Yeah, we think it's great how you're taking care of your teeth.
Well, see you in the morning.
Whatever. Right.
He's coming. King Gavity is coming. Oh no! He sees me! Oh, I don't want my teeth to be like his!
This is like the most generic version of a kid's brush your teeth thing, huh? Feels like this is the thing you like an AI would spit out. Oh, there's like a big ape named King Cavity. Like,
I'm as mean as can be.
it feels like the something that you would watch on another show where it's like a fake show to show that the kid is watching a silly instructional video to brush their teeth, but it's actually this.
Every one of my teeth has a cavity. They're rotten, ugly, yellow and green, and that's exactly how I want your teeth to be seen. Yellow and green.
Yeah, the voice actor sounds like Pete. They're around the same time. Could be the same voice actor.
Hello.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm brushing my teeth.
Aren't you afraid of King Cavity?
Not a bit. I'm brushing my teeth like I do every day.
Hippos have birds that help eat stuff out of their teeth.
Always in the proper way. See, I've chosen a fluoride toothpaste.
Or we can skip the facts and just use them to sell toothpaste. Okay.
And a well-designed toothbrush. I brush the fronts of my teeth, the inside, And all across the tops. That way I avoid any chance meetings with old King Cavity. And you could do the same thing too. Here.
Thanks.
Oh, and don't forget to ask your mom and dad to help you floss.
Gee, I'm getting tired and hungry. I think I'll have a snack.
Can I help you?
Hungry? Yeah. Here, you won't find these in any candy store. Thanks. Well, you're never going to take care of your teeth eating candy. You need to eat balanced meals and limit snacks. And if you need a snack, have some of my fresh fruits and vegetables. That way you'll always have a beautiful smile, like mine. Thanks. You know, I'm getting pretty tired of running from this King Cavity dude. In fact, I think I've just about had... enough.
They have sugars, but they have less sugars, because candy has added sugar, like a fuck ton of it.
Now you know how to take care of your teeth. You gotta brush them right and watch what you eat. Use a fluoride toothpaste and plenty of floss. Eat healthy foods and your teeth will get lost. But there's one more thing you gotta do. You gotta get a checkup. Woo-hoo, get a checkup. Woo-hoo, get a checkup. Woo-hoo, get a checkup.
But it's a kids video, Halloween Town. They gotta be like, hey, moderation, don't, you know, eat fruit and shit.
Wow! You guys came just in time.
And now, it's time for everyone to go to the dentist.
You too, Mr. All Holes and Yucky Teeth.
Is he insured?
Next, please. Come on. Don't be a big baby. It's never too late to take care of your teeth.
Gina Giraffe? Gina, this is Doc Croc.
Hi.
Gina, ever wonder how someone gets a cavity?
There are actually things that you shouldn't brush right after because your enamel on your teeth can become softened by the thing you're eating if it's like acidic or if you're drinking like a bunch of soda or something that might be damaging. So if you're someone who brushes after meals, which is good, I brush twice a day, just make sure what you're eating isn't something that you're not supposed to brush your teeth right after.
An invisible blanket.
I think it's true for after if you get sick, if you throw up, I think you're not supposed to, like, obviously when you throw up you want to brush your teeth, but like you're supposed to actually wait a little bit because the acid from the vomit can weaken again the enamel, which if you brush into it can damage it.
Of plaque is always forming, covering the teeth. If you don't brush and floss your teeth every day, it combines with sugar from your food and can cause cavities. And that's another reason it's important to have regular checkups.
Yeah.
First, we'll clean your teeth with this special brush.
Tickle.
Now we'll put fluoride on them to make them strong.
And just to make sure there are no problems, we'll take some pictures with an X-ray. Everything looks great. I wonder how your friend King Cavity made out.
Does he have to abdicate his throne now, or is it a name change, or just be a misnomer?
Now that's what I call a dream.
Your new teeth are coming, so make them feel at home. Your new teeth are here to stay, not to go and roam.
Next time, can Mom buy the toothpaste that doesn't jump out of the bottle and do a dance number every time I want to brush my goddamn teeth?
So brush right and eat smart every day, and you'll have a sparkle smile that'll never go away. teeth are coming, and they're coming to stay.
Thanks, Crest. Hmm.
Get the inside scene.
From Mean Gene.
And Missy.
All the biggest names in wrestling on the WCW hotline.
Like me. From the locker room.
To the boardroom. It's all on the WCW hotline.
Do some name calling and a lot of other fun stuff, too.
That clears it up, Nemesaur. Thank you. Oh, poor Star Trek guy. He just wants to talk about
Good evening,
Star
welcome
Trek.
to 10 Forward. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pickering.
Great. Do you have a question or comment for us?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I'm having a Star Trek and Star Wars party.
Yep.
We're all going to dress up as characters.
Right.
And my friend Chuck, he's going to dress up as a Romulan.
Right.
Yeah, it's a public access thing.
And I'm going to be Captain Picard.
Okay, okay.
And
it's honestly hilarious that, like, this is just a thing. This still exists. People do YouTube channels where their whole thing is talking about Star Trek. Which is great.
Want to come because you could be a Star Wars character.
Oh, no, I don't want to be a Star Wars character. No, no, maybe Sue would like to be a Star Wars. No, I don't want to be a Star Wars character. No.
We're not a very political bunch, are we?
We mustn't be. No. Politics.
We're not a very political bunch. Has a show about Star Trek.
Who needs it? Who needs it? Let's take another call. Good evening. Welcome to 10 Forward. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pickering.
Okay. Do you have a question or comment for us?
Yeah. First, I'd like to say hi to my friends Dave and Star Wars Party Pals.
All right.
And I was wondering, you know Jabba the Hutt?
I believe that we do. Yes.
The Jedi. Yeah.
He's got his finger on the button. Did he say the Jedi? Jabba's not a Jedi.
Pals.
All right.
And I was wondering, you know Jabba the Hutt?
I believe that we do. Yes.
The Jedi. Yeah.
He said the Jedi.
It takes like 16 people to control him.
That's right. It's a huge puppet, and they have both human operators and they have computer operators.
Animatronics.
Yep, and so they have someone moving the tail and someone moving the mouth.
I assume they're just they're gonna call him Jabba or something. I've seen this before.
Then the eyes and into the well, yes.
Is it just me, or there are fewer active brain cells in the universe?
I think there are. As a matter of fact, I was going to say something.
This is actually a really good set for like a local public broadcast Star Trek show. Like, look, they put a lot of time into this to make it look like they're actually in a like TNG, maybe late TOS movie era starship. Like, it's pretty good.
Elections there.
Star Trek fans don't fuck around.
They're all tied together.
I say, sitting next to my large collection of Star Trek media, and by large I mean complete collection of Star Trek media.
Good evening, welcome to 10 Forward. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pickering.
Okay, do you have a quick question for us?
No, I have a comment.
Okay.
I'd just like to say that the show's really great, and I've been watching it for a while. And
Thanks very much.
I don't really like the people calling in and making fun of you.
Well, thank you so much.
Well,
we don't like that either.
No, I can live with people making fun of me. Everyone has a right to an opinion. What I can't deal with is the small-minded morons who only can think of four-letter words.
Okay, thanks very much for your...
Fun fact, if there's ever a call-in show or anything and people are being, like, trolled, don't call just to be like, I'm so sorry people are trolling you. Like, if you want to say it offhand, I guess, whatever. But, like, as someone who does this, people would rather you just talk about the thing. If it's... Like, trolls are one thing, but someone calling in just to complain about the trolls, that's just as annoying. Stop it. Let people who actually have things to ask or talk about call.
Your call. Okay. Boy, those brain cells are just flying out of here like you can't believe.
Sucked into those black holes.
I don't know. Get a life. Get a job. Grow a spine, buddy.
Anything.
Okay. We're going to, and this person is a grand prize winner of...
A pass for one to Primedia in October.
Congratulations, you've won your pass to Primedia.
Hello?
Hi, you've won a pass to Primedia in October. Yeah! All right.
A happy winner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
You miss Tina Arena. Me too. No one will be as good as her. She was incredible. Oh, I remember this
I
commercial.
just love Halloween.
Mono, what's my costume?
We already have a daddy, so how about a mummy?
Where's your costume, Ronald?
What am I going to be for Halloween?
Yo, Ronnie, how about a clown?
What's frightfully fun at McDonald's? For McDonald and friends.
Yeah, with the little chicken nuggets. Why do I remember this? I feel like I was too fucking young. Like, this was 95. I was 1 year old. They must have played this other years or something. 'Cause I remember this.
For McDonald and tapes.
No, because they would have different toys and stuff. Must just be buried very, very deep in my subconscious.
I like to scare myself. Aid to collect. One with each Happy Meal you buy.
You
Happy
did, Ashby.
Halloween.
You did. Band craft dinner commercial? They gonna get horny about mac and cheese?
Okay, guys, this will be your dorm room for the year. Oh, and there'll be no hot plates or microwaves allowed in the room.
No microwaves? I understand a hot plate. I kind of get the hot plate thing, because that is dangerous, especially if you're a dumbass teenager. No microwave? Fuck off.
Hungry?
Think we should turn the heat back down?
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I just thought girls were gonna show up and be like, oh, are you making mac and cheese? And it would be funny, because I would make a joke like, yeah, I'd do that, because I like mac and cheese. But no, it was just gross. That's a shame.
Good night, Mom. So this is how it feels to own a Toys R Us store. Every toy I ever dreamed of, plus 18,000 more.
For those who don't know, I worked at a Toys R Us briefly during a holiday season back in the day.
Your child is dreaming about Nintendo. The control deck with bonus game pack is only $79.97 at Toys R Us. Zapper light gun just $19.99. Game cartridges from $27.49 each at Toys R Us.
I jumped like
Paying $27.50, not even including inflation for Punch-Out, drives me crazy. The games were cheaper. The games were shittier too and had a lot less content, so not that much cheaper relative to the amount of content and inflation, I don't think. Oh, this is another TMNT.
Won't have
PSA.
them around the lair, frankly.
Okay, let's do this. This will be the last one we do. This is 4 minutes long. We'll do this and then call it a night until tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be back with maybe Sovereign Citizens or Chuds. I don't know.
Watch out for scorpions, dudes. I hate scorpions. Won't have them around the lair, frankly.
Hey, never mind the scorpions. I just don't think any self-respecting turtle ought to be around this much sand without an ocean next to it.
Correct.
Hey, Leo!
Oh no, it's the oh god, it's these suits! It's the coming out of our shell suits!
Tell us again why we're doing the Pioneer thing.
Yeah, dude. Who's supposed to deliver pizza out here? The Pony Express?
The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me. The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza positively.
There's something special about this place. Maybe something mystical.
Well, this place doesn't look so mystical to me. Just looks boring. You guys pitch camp. I'm gonna check out the real estate and see what gives.
Okay.
All right, dude, later.
Come on, guys.
All right.
Raph can do the cooking. He didn't lift a finger to help. Where'd he go anyway? It's been a long time. Hey, Raph!
Great. Hey, that looks like some kind of cliff dwelling up there.
Up near the top of those cliffs. But I don't remember anything like that on the map.
Well, there's a lot of places like that on public land.
They call it the Coming Out of Their Shells tour.
Most people don't even know about them.
It's literally because they didn't want to deal with the shells on the suits. And, like, I get it, from a practical standpoint, these suits were created for live performances. This was, these suits were made for, like, a traveling kids concert with the Ninja Turtles. So they made them without the shells, because you can't... It would be very difficult to be in these big, warm suits that are already probably a pain in the ass to, like, dance in and stuff. I don't know. I don't blame them for not doing the shells. That would have just been extra weight and thrown them off.
Radical dudes! Let's go up there and discover it! I got a feeling that someone we know might have beat us to it.
Hey, this is great. I can't see much, but I like the feel of the place.
This place is most bodacious. Whoa, what's this? Oh, graffiti like the subway.
These petroglyphs and drawings were made by the people who lived here. Not by some jerk with too much time on his hands.
I mean, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, right, dude. Whoa, whoa. Shh. All right. It's coming from over there. Come on, dudes.
We've hit the mother lode in this one. Shredder will be pleased.
The foot is here?
This stuff is worth a fortune in the right places.
You mean the wrong places.
What do you want to do about the overgrown reptile?
How did 2 Foot Clan soldiers capture a Ninja Turtle? No. 2? No. It would at least have to be like a mutant or something. What in the world?
Unexpected action. Let's go get him, dudes.
This would be like a Power Ranger getting kidnapped by 2 putties. Like, it's just not happening outside of maybe, like, the first couple episodes. Like, no.
Donnie and I'll take the foot. Mikey, you cut Raph free. No. I'll take the foot. You dudes cut Raph free.
In the cartoon, the foot soldiers are robots. In the comic and live action, they are not. In the cartoon, because it was for younger audiences, they made the foot robots so they could, you know, stab them and rip them apart and it not be fucked.
What was that middle part again?
But typically the foot are not robots. That's a thing
would
of like the 80s show, I think.
Mind going over that plan once again?
Stop right there. This illegal spelunking party is now concluded.
Splinter!
Oh, the concert version of Splinter is so much worse, too.
Andy M? Total? Oh.
Get him, guys!
All right.
That's the fight scene. A spin transition. I get the feeling this didn't understand what kids like about the Ninja Turtles.
Cowabunga!
Thanks, Splinter.
Yeah, I did have a plan, you know.
Oh boy, that looks
I
fantastic.
have brought you here to teach you of a special responsibility, the responsibility of stewardship. Stewards are
I'm
gods.
sorry, is Splinter supposed to be Japanese, usually, right? Why does he have a sort of weird British accent?
Of our great cultural resources, our heritage.
But he sounds like he's trying to be a bit posh, you know what I mean? It doesn't quite sound like he's trying to be Japanese, it sounds like he's trying to be posh.
Wouldn't have to do with historical and archaeological stuff, would it?
No, in the
go over the
cartoon, I
fact.
feel like it sounded... In the cartoon, he's absolutely... Oh, wait, no. Well, he was born in Japan. Like, his master was Japanese, and he's a Japanese rat. I was pretty sure he had a voice that, like, sounded like that. It didn't sound British.
All across
Mako wanted too much money. No money is too much money for Mako.
America, sometimes in the most unexpected places, the history of man's first 12,000 years on the land has been preserved for us to discover and to learn from. You know, like a time capsule, a national treasure. Some of these places are
No, in the cartoon, he was not a human that turned into a rat, I thought. I thought that was the differentiation. No, you're right. I'm thinking of the movie where he was he mimicked the master and was just a rat that got mutated. You're right.
historical,
like this Flight of the Navigator public domain. Oh, not even close. No, I do have that movie. It's a good movie, but no, that is like 40 or 50 years away, probably closer to 50 years away from being in the public domain unless laws change or something.
The ruins of an old fort.
I will not be doing this by then. Unless I'm in my 80s and doing this.
Some archaeological, like a cave where men lived thousands of years ago. And some are even fossils of prehistoric animals. Some people don't realize that writing their names on things or taking souvenirs is uncool. The best policy is simply not to touch stuff.
Millennials will never retire? No, but I will drop dead long before that.
Be cool, dudes.
Seldom is heard a bogus shredder foot nerd, and the pizza's delivered all day.
Well, that was certainly something. So thanks, everyone, for hanging out and watching VHS stuff for like 4 hours. It was fun. We'll do this again. Tomorrow we will be doing something else. This is the Cartoon Splinter for comparison.
The story of my young friends and I is really the story of a man named Hamato Yoshi.
Yeah, I still don't think it... I think that still sounds more Japanese than it does what we just heard. But alright. Hope to see most of you tomorrow. Or all of you, but I know that's not realistic. Most of you, hopefully. Love you too, Mr. Blast. I hope you all have a great night, and I will see you soon. I am starving, so I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna go make a nice turkey sandwich with some mustard and garlic, and it's gonna be good. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.